Oh man, early crew was super early this week. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Oh yeah, we got a great one today, folks. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You know, there's nothing I love more than having guests on my stream and talking about projects in the community. We got Commodore engineer Dave Haynie. Also, Commodore UK Managing Director David John Pleasance is here. They got a new project, and they want to tell us all about it, and we'll check it out, see if it's for you guys. I see Zemish here, Gemini Knight, Mr. Utter. The early crew is super early today. I love you guys. Greg of Florida checking in from the VIP Lounge. Great to see you, Greg. Cal64, what's going on? Jost 80, Sunday Fun Day. Upshift 64, Amiga Mark. S. Jan Chow, good evening to you. Zemish, how's it going? Oh, Ram, buddy, how's it going? Long time no see. Oh, Ram, I gotta change your email address on the WOG. Sorry about that. Elrond, how's it going? Elrond, Carlos Jackal, holy bit. How you doing? Han Solo, now what's going on? XFFNRG, extra energy maybe? I'm trying to learn how to speak that language. I'm trying to learn. The Lizard's here, Acmafin. Greetings from the hot tub. Air, and I are both watching, yo. Greetings to the hot tub. How's it going, guys? Fishbot is here. Filth First E. What's up, Firthy? Jand909. I'll be sure checking in from the VIP Lounge. Porthall. Yo, Tin. How's it going, dude? Dadler TL. Dadler, can't wait to get back to Germany. Love your arcade, dude. Poetic Android. How's it going, Poetic? Sigurborn, Quantic CD32, Voxel Chops checking in from the VIP Lounge. 3D Code Warrior with a resub. Thank you, 3D Code Warrior. Chris Doe is here. What's up, Chris? Great to see you. Carlos Jackelson Lau. AGA Berg, Bosco Bug, Devil Inside, Paul Kitching 3D, the 3D artist extraordinaire. What's up, Paul? Long time no see, dude. Chris Doe from Canada. You guys all rock. So I'm going to start the stream off, being that we have two Commodore guys on the stream today. I figured we'd start the stream off with a Commodore demo. This is called World of Commodore. It's by Sanity, and it dropped at the World of Commodore in 1992. It's a pretty cool one, guys. I hope you're going to enjoy it, and let's get the party started. Let's go. I don't have the timing. There we go. All right, 8-bit bells go. Amiga. It's loading up. It's actually interesting. It's a disk master file, and I got this really cool app off of Aminet that lets you convert disk master to ADF. So we're loading it off the GoTech drive today, and it's a brilliant app, absolutely brilliant app. I love that I can take the disk master files and make them ADFs, and that just takes a little minute. It takes a little second for it to kick in here. I got my water ready. I'm getting hydrated. And yeah, I did. Now here we go. Here it comes, guys. Enjoy the demo. Part 2 coming up. Yo, Palinurk with the resub. Palinurk, thank you so much for all your support. I really, really appreciate it. Voxel Trots with the resub, 48 months, 13 days to walk. Oh yeah, I can't wait, Voxel. It's gonna be so much fun. There's some cool stuff happening with the bits. I appreciate that, guys. Dadler, 40, the number of rows on the text mode screen of the Commodore 64. Dadler, thank you so much for the resub. Love your arcade, dude. Devil Inside with the resub. Let's get ready for the Sunday Fun Day. Devil Inside, great to see you. 3D Code War, thank you again. Okay, cool. And part 2 is a lot shorter than part 1. I think it's coming up. I see my drive being accessed here. Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? Happy Sunday Fun Day. It is a pleasure to have you all here. ProtonFIG with the raid. Proton, thank you so much for the raid. Everyone go follow ProtonFIG. He does live coding streams. He makes really, really awesome demo. He's Proton from Finished Gold and Complex. And I don't know. He may make me whip out my vampire today. I don't know. he may make me whip out the vampire. We'll see. He's doing some cool stuff. Proton got a vampire, and he's coding for it. That's awesome. That's so cool. Let me just catch up on everything here. Porthal, the vid is still on my hard drive. I got to finish that Bifrost vid. Blitter Object, how's it going? Fishbot, you liked that one? Awesome, Fishbot. Yo, Texas Foosball are checking in from the VIP lounge. How's it going? Yeah, I don't think I have the skills to do a demo, but maybe one day. You know what I'd like to do one day is I'd like to at least make, like, I've got some ideas, but I have the programming skills. I don't think I got them. Cryik, what's going on? Winter Wolf, Hoover Phonique, Ghetto Finger Gaming, D Mackie 828, my man. Sigerborn is here. Dan Linden, how's it going? Smash 1980, look at those caps, baby. It's not the same without my reverb machine. It's not the same. Christo, Arturi, Indiana, Manic Whiner. What's up, Manic Whiner? I love these names. They're hilarious. Grinder Cowboy, how's it going? Upshift 64. Again, folks, Palinurk, thank you so much for the resub and for all your like incredible generosity with the Patreon and everything. I really appreciate that, Palinurk. That's amazing. Voxel, same to you, man. Same to you. 13 Days to Walk. Thanks for the resub. Dadler, thank you for all your support too. Love your arcade, man. I can't wait to get back to Germany. Devil Inside with the resub, thank you. 3D Code Warrior, thank you all so much. All right, so folks, we got a fun one scheduled today. We've got Dave Haynie and Dave Pleasance coming on to talk about their new Kickstarter. There's a new version of Grind out. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I can really do a good demo of it because the big update to Grind is like multiplayer action, which is so cool, but I don't have anyone to play with. So we'll fire it up anyway and check it out. You know, Grind is an amazing new Amiga game that's coming out. You know, some people, we'll talk to the Daves about it, but some people say Doom killed the Amiga, but like wait until they see Grind. Oh baby, yeah, Grind's. I'm so excited for Grind too. And then there's some other cool games that came out. Another cool game that came out with Scorpion Engine. You know, Iraq and the Scorpion Engine, and that community is amazing. It's called Dr.Dangerous, and of course, we will do all the Amiga news. So the Amiga news for the week. All right, let's turn off the Amiga. I'm digging the tunes, but you know, my guests are waiting patiently. And I want to get into it. Let me, boom. Here we go. Okay, cool. Let me scroll down here. Get ready for this. Boom, cool. We got some more books in the Amiga news section too. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of news going on. Some cool events. I'm psyched for the news section. Corthorn Dragon, you're new to the channel from the early 1980s. Excited to find out what's up. Oh, well, welcome to the stream. It's a pleasure to have you. If you're just joining the stream for the first time, I'm Amiga Bill, and I do these streams here on Twitch almost every Sunday. It depends on my work schedule. We call it the Sunday Fun Day. I love to play new Amiga games. I love to play classic Amiga games. We catch up on all the Amiga news. Like, the Amiga community is so vibrant these days. There's all kinds of cool stuff happening in the community, and I love to share anything that I find with you guys, and I love having guests on my stream. Today we've got two awesome guests. Last week we had Paulie, and it's yeah, I love, you know, whenever someone's doing a cool project in the community, I just like to bring them on and have them talk about it. But like my favorite part of the streams is just hanging out with everyone in the chat, because some of you become like really good friends of mine, and just like the camaraderie is amazing. And I love that you guys get together and talk to each other as well. So when you come here, like, I'm the dude on the camera, but I'm really just a hack. Like, all the good stuff is happening in the chat. So so welcome to the stream. It's a pleasure to have you here. All right, cool. So I've got two well-known guests on my stream today. Former Commodore engineer Dave Haynie, and thank you for the resub, former managing director of Commodore UK, David John Pleasance. They've got a new Kickstarter for a book called Dare to Dream, Commodore and Amiga Today, a vision of what Commodore and Amiga could have been, should have been. And you guys know, like, whenever I do these interviews, whenever we're talking about a new project, the whole concept is I have people come on, they can present their project, and then it's up to you guys to decide if it's for you. If you're into the book, cool. If it's not for you, no worries. I get it. And, you know, I'm not involved in this project or the other projects I had recently at all. I just like to show you guys like what's being offered, and then you guys can make your decision if you're into it or not. You know, last week we had Paulie, and today we've got the two Daves, Dave Haynie and David John Pleasance, and we're gonna hear some cool stories and have some fun. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the guys to the stream. Dave Haynie and David John Pleasance, welcome. Thank you for coming on today.
Hi. Hello. It's great to be here.
So guys, I guess we'll just, why don't you guys first, let's just do, I want to talk about the book, but because like I was telling you guys before, not everyone who watches these streams knows there's a lot of new Amiga people as well as older Amiga people who know a lot of stuff. But why don't you guys just give a brief introduction? Dave Haynie, you're on the left. Let's start with you.
Okay, yeah. So I started at Commodore in 1983. I was brought in by Bill Hurd to help out with the Commodore 128 project. Well, actually, at that point, it was the TED project. So we were working on the TED, which was originally supposed to be Jack Tramiel being all in panic mode about the Sinclair $99 computer. As that one went on, it kind of got blown out largely by some management. But our real first my real project, the first one I really got to contribute with, and as an other than just helping out, was the 128 Commodore 128. I was real proud of that. We did the best we possibly could with the resources we were given. That was in 1985, actually, because Commodore was buying the Amiga. They were a little cash poor from time to time. They had a couple rounds of layoffs and everything. So at least that very first layoff got rid of some dead wood. So after the 128, I was kind of like looking around. We built a prototype of a Commodore. Actually, we built two different prototypes of a Commodore 256. Me and Frank Palea were still around. Bill Hurd left after that project. I don't want to get too deeply involved in this, but then I was asked to help out with the A500. I think they had originally planned to hand me the A500 and let George Robbins, who had been he'd been a high-end guy. George Robbins was obviously the A500 guru. He actually helped design the chipset as well as the system. He had also been the guy who finally got this Commodore 900 working, even though that never came out. That was our Unix machine, basically, to put it simply. And but George didn't want to give up the 500, so they put me on the high-end machine, the Commodore version of the A2000, or the Westchester version of the A2000. The A2000 had been conceived in Germany as essentially an A1000 plus an expansion backplane. They gave it to me to make it cost effective and to integrate it. So I did that. From there, we did a couple rounds of 2500 systems. I worked with Bob Welland, who had been the other half of the C900 project, to get the first 68020 board done in Westchester. And that was mainly to run Unix. That was the one that had the MMU on it. None of the third parties had MMUs on them. After that, I was told by one of our managers that we were getting a 68030 chip in, and they were still prototypes. So I spent the next 48 hours designing a 68030 version. I mean, without sleep.
It doesn't sound like a lot of time, Dave.
The 68030 version of that design that would also work at higher clock speeds, because the 68020, the 2620 ran at double the main bus speed, so it still stayed synchronized. And I'd figured out how to make it go at 25 and even 33 megahertz. In fact, I also found out I came up with a memory system where it worked great for about a day, and then eventually the memories burnt themselves out because I was pushing them too hard, which I'd never seen before or even knew about. They don't tell you about that in engineering school. But anyway, so the 68, those became the Commodore 2500s. We actually got a whole team together for the Amiga 3000, which was great. I worked with Greg Berlin. Jeff Porter was managing like he always had. Headley Davis was the project manager of the actual project. We had some other guys like Jeff Boyer, who designed the original DMA controller. Scott Hood, who did the flicker fixer, the Amber chip. And from there, I was more and more started getting into making the things work, talking to the chip guys. I got the first what we called the Pandora machine up, which everyone else calls either AA or triple or AGA, depending on when depending on how close they are to the engineers. Because we always everybody who wasn't on the project called it AA, and everyone who learned about it from marketing called it AGA. But whatever you want to call it, That was actually up and running Amiga OS in February of 1991. That's also when all of the troubles began that year, with management changes and projects getting canceled and things like that. Then in '93 we did have the AAA system. We had one round of silicon on that, and that's all we were ever going to get. And a lot of it didn't work. But I also built a main board called Nix that had that. It also had onboard networking. It had Kickstart on a SIM module that could also support Flash, even though Flash had kind of just been invented and was way too expensive to ship with the machine. I wanted to make it possible for third parties or whatever to come out with SIM modules and sell them for ridiculous amounts of money that had Flash on them. And anyway, that was my contribution to Commodore. I was also working on a bunch of projects. I came up with, well, actually, I designed the 4091 SCSI board, but Commodore decided at that point we would just hand the design off to a third party who wanted to build it, because Commodore really needed to spend their full efforts on the things that only Commodore could do, which was a good idea. It's just something we probably should have done back in the 80s. But anyway, that was. Yeah, I also designed some advanced architecture stuff that you might have seen on the internet, but that never got built. Actually, quite a bit of it, because after we got the management changes in 1991, I kind of thought, well, maybe I can engineer my way out of these problems. I've never been a business guy. That's actually why my friend Dave's here.
Wow, Dave, thank you so much for that awesome info. My work is done here. Great. That was so much. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. So Dave Pleasance, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, indeed, I'm happy to do so. Like Dave, I joined Commodore in 1983. I joined in June of '83, Commodore UK, and I was recruited specifically to sell the Commodore PET, which at that time was the only business product that they had, into the retail market, because they had previously been selling it as a business machine into businesses. And very shortly after I joined them, I realized that Commodore never had a business plan. And I found that out because I was suddenly told that Commodore's International has decided they're not going to make any more PETs. So I was recruited really for a redundant position. However, luckily for me at that time, the Commodore 64 had been released just a few months earlier, was doing exceptionally well. And that was in the consumer division. And the consumer division consisted of a sales manager and a key accounts manager and some other sales people. And the key accounts manager decided he wanted to leave. So I was moved into that position. So from that moment in time, I was selling VIC-20s and Commodore 64s, and then 128s and whatever else happened. Then I sat back and watched the Amiga 1000 being launched, which of course was not in my product range. It was one of those products that was not a games machine and certainly too expensive for games, and really not quite there in terms of a business product. So for me, my heyday was when the 500 was launched, of course, because that was a product that really fit into my customer profile very, very well. Anyway, whilst we had the 500, I launched the Amiga Batman pack, which was quite revolutionary at its time, having something with everything you needed in one box, and we did very, very well with that. As a result of that, I was made sales and marketing director in the UK. But shortly after, I mean, within just a few months, there was a position came up as general manager of Commodore Electronics Limited, which was the holding company for Commodore, the whole group of Commodore. And that was based in Basel in Switzerland. And anyway, I was appointed into that role, and I looked after 35 countries. They were the countries where Commodore did not have an operating subsidiary. Then we moved, I was there for 2 years. And then in January of 1993, I was sent to the States as vice president of consumer products sales company. That was Commodore Inc. And because they were in a position where they weren't selling anything, and that's a long story which I won't bore anybody with. But cut a long story short, I managed to resolve all of the issues that there were in the States. I got us trading again, and then I made myself go back to Commodore Electronics Limited simply because we were about to launch the Amiga 1200, and I wanted to go back to the States when that was ready to be launched into the States. While I was looking after CEL, I got a phone call one morning. I can remember it very distinctly because I was completely hungover. I was in Athens, and I'd been out with a new distributor I'd just appointed, and I was hungover, and I was forced to fly back to the UK that same day. And there I was forced into managing director of the UK company, which is where I remained until the bankruptcy. And in fact, Commodore UK being the strongest subsidiary, well, we lasted 14 months after Commodore's bankruptcy. So that's my history.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much. So you guys are definitely Commodore through and through, both there before the Amiga. Dave, I've talked to like Jeff Porter and other folks, and I'm just interested, the Amiga was such technology that was like so far ahead of its time. Like, as someone who was at Commodore, were you guys like really psyched to acquire Amiga? And like, what were you?
Well, yeah. So I learned about Amiga a little bit beforehand, but at CES show of '85, which was January of 1985, I was there supporting the Commodore 128, which basically meant so in the 2 weeks before CES, we had a problem with the 80 column chip. So while I was going through a stack of about 1,000, maybe more, packaged 80 column chips, 8563s, Bill Hurd and Dave Diorio. Dave was the inventor of the VIC-3 and worked on the MMU as well in the 128. I was going through this stack. They were building a thing there was a synchronization problem. So a lot of them wouldn't work because of that. A lot of them just wouldn't work because there were some yield issues. So we went through thousands of parts to get a handful of golden parts, but then we had the golden plus parts were the ones you actually wanted to have the displays going on because they sparkled. The bad ones sparkled, but they still worked. We get to the showroom floor, and we've got C128s that are supposed to be showing off 80 column stuff, and C128s that are supposed to be showing off other stuff, and they all have these little towers in them that has a phase lock loop circuit in it, and that has to be tuned to sync properly. And the tuning changes as the heat changes. So you start it up, it works fine, but if you turn it off, it doesn't come up. And our sales guys, our marketing guys, I guess they're marketing guys there, did not know about the reset button. They thought they had a Commodore 64 there, so they kept power cycling these things. They'd come up and not work. And so I was running around the whole booth with a can of freeze spray and little plastic tweaking tools so I could get them all back up and running. And I was just this kid basically, and I was yelling at these guys who might have been, in business, the business for 10, 15, 20 years, that to stop doing that and to push the reset button if you needed to reset it, and to stop showing 80 column stuff on the machines that were in the 40 column section, all this stuff. But anyway, so while we were there one night, Bill Hurd, my mentor and the chief designer of the 128, who will talk up anybody, had managed to run into RJ, Michael, and managed to get us to a little powwow with RJ and Dave Needle at the Amiga suite, and we sat down and had some beers, and they took the A1000 top off. Now this was, of course, the A1000 that Commodore had been helping with, and inside was and they weren't showing that on the floor. That was only showing behind the scenes. Inside was a tower sitting in the Denise chip socket. Right at that point, it was the Daphne chip, their video chip. We both just started cracking up, and they didn't even know what they were looking at. Like, let us tell you about our week, or a month, really. So I hit it off with those guys right away. In fact, RJ today is still one of my best friends from that era. Unfortunately, he's on the wrong coast, so I don't get to see him that often. But so yeah, I mean, so when I got, so once we got the prototypes up in Westchester, to look at, which was I think that summer. We got some of the older machines in the electronics lab. I think the software guys got most of the newer machines. So we had the Zorro box, which is the black metal case with the expansion chimney going up the top, and the 5 1/4 inch floppy instead of the 3.5 inch floppy that we had pushed for. We had those, and we also got the green books. That was the ROM kernel manual and the hardware manual, the original version. You had to sign for it. So Bill Hurd was able to sign for one of those, and the day he got it, I stayed late, photocopied the whole damn thing, and put it in a folder and took it home. So was I excited about that? You might say.
Oh, great answer, Dave. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's RJ is a special guy, and so is Bill Hurd. It's always a pleasure hearing Bill talk. He's an amazing guy. I feel really lucky to be able to talk to all of you and hear the stories about our machine, because back when I was a kid, I didn't really know who was behind it. I just knew I loved the Amiga and it could do things I've never seen done before, but I never got to understand the people behind it. And then once I did, I'm like, wow, now I understand why this machine was so special with so much talent behind it. Speaking of talent, let me just ask a quick question. Someone's asking in chat. Dave and David, did you guys work one-to-one with Jay Miner by any chance? And what happened? How did the Commodore culture change when Amiga came into the picture, if it changed at all?
Well, for me, unfortunately, I never met Jay Miner. Although what I can say, my one claim to any connection with Jay Miner is that around the time that Commodore was going under, I opened a recording studio because, as some people know, I was a musician way back. And we did an album which was going to be a celebration of music of 10 years of the Amiga. And I wrote and performed a piece of guitar music, which was called Para Mi Amiga, and it was a dedication to Jay Miner. So I have got that sort of, if you like, on as a legacy to have left, but I didn't meet him, sadly.
Yeah, I never worked with Jay Miner. So I sort of came into the to the Amiga stuff within Westchester. I was actually kind of sad when I heard that Jay didn't like the Amiga 2000, though I had really, I had to take what they gave me, right? The whole format of that had been figured out in Germany, but when I went to Paris which was basically the first developers conference. It was actually before first developers conference we could show the Amiga 3000 at. It was before, that was in February of 1990, and the actual debut of the A3000 wasn't until April of 1990. And I ran into Jay Miner there and actually got to help him understand what we did there, and he liked it. And that was the world to me. Not only did he like it, I got to I went to dinner with him in a small group twice, so I got to hang out with him there. And though I think he liked one of the women who was involved in that group more. But hey, I'll take it. I'll admit it. I was never that cute, but it was nice to be able to hang out with him. And it was, yes, like most of you guys, when I first met him, it was sort of like, we're not worthy, But I think I had done well with some of the people who worked at Amiga, because I kept giving them 68,020 and 68,030 boards they could pop into their existing systems, and their compiles would go faster. And it was something that affected their daily lives, and they knew it was coming from me. So so I think plus I was also, the other thing I was doing was a thing I learned in the 128 days was there's a community out there. I should talk to them. They're really cool people. And so early on, I was out there. I think in the early days, I was basically doing nothing but computers. I was at Commodore in the day. I was online at night. I was doing all this stuff. I was on Usenet, all that. I was in the C128 era. I had a monthly show on Q-Link with Fred Bowen, where we would we go online and take questions and all. So I mean, that was a big part of it too. And I think they appreciated the fact that, that some of us were doing that too. It wasn't just those guys.
Makes sense.
Especially,
Within Jay, I like about the 2000 at the beginning.
Probably the same. Well, I think a big part of it is nobody liked Zorro 2 because their idea about Zorro 1 was correct. That was the right way to do it. That was they were looking at they were trying to make a personal computer of like VME, and the boards that the long edge of the board is where you put the connectors. Just that one alone. You can add it without having to open up the box. There's another one. They had good ideas. It costs more, but the ironic thing is it costs more because you had to have a riser for that. What did we do on the A3000? We had a riser. It was just, I don't know. It was, I think there was a lot of, I think part of it too is that was the first Commodore computer, because the 1000 was worked out with Los Gatos. The A3000 or the A2000 was made in Germany. Like nobody in Westchester, nobody in Los Gatos even knew about it until we were getting boxes showing up, as prototypes. And I mean, I love Germany. It's other than the United States, I've spent more time in there than any other country. And the guys in Braunschweig were pretty smart guys. But the reason it was kind of clandestine is because Henry Rubin, who is our vice president of engineering, really, really, really loved this bridge card idea. He wanted to have an IBM PC in a window, and nobody working on Amiga, whether they were in Westchester or anywhere else, cared at all about that. We wanted to be our own thing. We didn't want to have we didn't care about a PC in a window. I couldn't say at the time he was wrong. I think in retrospect, it didn't really do us any good.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think a lot of people say that Amiga maybe it was too far ahead of its time. It was really a multimedia computer. People didn't quite know what to do with it. Everyone had a PC at work, so they wanted to put a bridge card in it, make it PC compatible. Like, do you think, David, as a marketing guy, do you think that was like a smart move with the bridge card?
Absolutely yes. Only because it opened up a whole new plethora of potential target markets. It was, I, like everybody else, absolutely adored the Amiga and the fact that it had its unique custom chips and so on, and it set us completely apart from my competition. However, by adding a bridge board, it would have given us the opportunity to add what we had to an existing marketplace and give them a reason to want to buy our product. So I really thought it was a good idea.
Excellent. And yeah, just Jay Miner, the one person who I did meet back then, it was like the best day of my life. I met Jay briefly at AMI Expo, and he was just such a kind, like gentle person. And when I met him, I was like, wow, it makes sense why this machine is special, because he's really special. And I'll never be an engineer. I'm not smart enough. I don't know anything about electronics, but he inspired me just to be a great person. Like, I was just this little kid, the 16-year-old kid, and he took like 20 minutes to talk to me. And he was so excited, about the user group and everything. And I was like, okay, wow, this is the guy who invented the Amiga. Like, he's at AMI Expo, everyone wants to see him. Yet he's talking to me. He's talking to every single person that he comes up with. He gave the time to. And I was like, this is what I want to be like. I want to be a good person like Jay Miner.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the reasons I like going to shows, is because I can go there and do that same thing. Because some of those
the shows today.
Because people have done that for me, and I'd like to give it back.
Oh, that's really nice. I know, Dave. I know, like, people really appreciate that, and I've met you at shows, and you're always very active at like Binge Computer Festival, and we met at Amiga Germany, and it's so awesome that you share so much with the community. It's much appreciated.
Yeah. I'm going to California this fall.
Oh, great, for the AMI West.
Yeah.
Excellent. I gotta get out there too. I feel very guilty. I've never been to AMI West.
I've never been. Yeah, I really need to get. Yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll have to meet there. That'd be really fantastic.
It took me a little over a year to work that out, but yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Awesome. So you guys,
just to let everybody know, no one pays me to go to these things. I go to them free. I just, sometimes they actually have to pay my travel, because I didn't get fabulously wealthy at this thing.
Understood. So you guys were both at Commodore a long time. You know, we'll definitely have to get to the book. Like, so, when did you guys meet?
That's a good question. I think it was probably when I went to Commodore Inc. in Westchester, which was '93.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was a funny story. I was made to get out there. I was in a meeting in Germany with Mary Alley, a Commodore General Managers meeting. I was in Frankfurt. I'm based in London, of course, and we finished the meeting, and Mary Alley said to me, "Right, I want you on the 7 o'clock flight out of London tonight. As from today, you're taking over as vice president of consumer products in Westchester. Jim Dion, who's the president, thinks you're reporting to him, but you're not. You're reporting to me. Just go along with it. But I want you on the 7 o'clock flight out from London tonight. No excuses." The 7 o'clock flight out of London was Concorde. So I was on that flight. Thank you, Mitty. That was the only thing I ever got from Mitty that made any sense. But anyway, I had to get out there quickly because we were at the Winter CES in Vegas, of course. We had a stand there. And so I was there for about 4 or 5 days. But then my first day in Westchester to take over my new role, the first thing I did was to go and meet the engineers. And that was when I discovered, to my horror, that we had 7 Amiga engineers. So I think between them had 2 or 3, maybe 4 junior engineers working with them. But we had 40 PC engineers. This is in January of 1993, when no man in his right mind would ever make their own bloody PCs. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. But anyway, to answer your question, I'm pretty sure that's when I first met Dave. And we've been like joined at the hip ever since.
Yeah. I think maybe I'd certainly known about David before then, and maybe he knew about me. But it's a very, very good thing for the marketing people to meet the engineering team. But there's always a thing in the middle that tries to prevent that from happening. I mean, actively tries to prevent that from happening, because they don't want him to be able to call me up and say, "Hey, I'd like to discuss this with you." They want it to go through channels. That's not the way science and engineering works.
No, absolutely.
but they can do that. I mean, and honestly, back then it was a little easier. Today it would be impossible, because if we had been working together in those days, and I had run into Dave at all, he'd have my number.
The thing is, is that I need to make it clear to your listeners. I was with Commodore 12.5 years, right at the front line. And not once ever did anybody ever come to me and say, "Look, Dave, what does the market want? What do we need to provide? What price point do we need to fit? What features does it have to have?" Never once. Now, as far as I'm concerned, a technology company lives and breathes on its R&D. And if you don't feed the R&D and tell them what you need on a consistent way, I'm not talking about what used to happen with Commodore, is that they'd have a new head of engineering come in, and he would say, "What are you working on?" "I'm doing this." "Stop doing that. We don't want to do that. Do this." And there's loads and loads and loads of projects that were half finished, or maybe some of them very closely finished, that got canned because they had new people coming in who didn't have any direction whatsoever.
Yeah, and as well, on the engineering side of things, for years, probably decades, we were like, we would like some feedback so we can have, what can you guys sell? The problem is, we had the marketing people at Westchester. We could walk over to their offices. We didn't have direct lines to anybody else in the world, but and the USA was not selling that much. So what usually happened was, we try to get those guys involved. Nothing would happen. A bunch of us engineers would sit down and figure out what's our next direction. We get a sign off from the management on it, and there were times when we had a really good idea about that. I mean, fortunately for the entire for Commodore, we had Jeff Porter through most of my era there. He started a year later. In 3 months, he created the 1200 baud modem, and then he went into like, I say middle management, but it wasn't really middle management. He was essentially doing product engineering on a level I've never seen before. He was the one who made the A500 cost what it did. I mean, he managed projects. He was the guy you could talk to and say, hey, how can we do? I wouldn't say let's do this. I'd talk to him and it's like, here's my ideas. Will this work? How, So I mean, he ended up basically filling in for the fact that we didn't have a lot of input from sales people because nobody in the United States knew what to sell or how to sell it. I mean, from my point of view, I wanted to build the high-end toy because I understood what that was. And I sort of knew what a consumer computer was, and I thought it looked a lot like an A500 or an A1200, but I didn't know. I didn't have any nuance there because it was a decade past the time I had been using that sort of machine.
Can I just add in there that we used to call Commodore Inc., the sales company, sales prevention officers.
Yeah,
because they were.
Yeah, I mean, in order for anything to be successful, right? Whether it's a company like Commodore or like a film crew, like everyone has to work together and be a well-oiled machine, right? And it sounds like there was a lot of no, there was not a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, so you'd think, I mean, film crews basically have to throw themselves together and get that working in a really short time. You'd think after years, a real company could do that. Well, they could if they wanted to, or if they really thought they needed to. But I think a lot of that was just everybody, not everybody, but there were people there who really didn't belong there. But if they could control the space they were in, they prevented anyone else from getting there.
Do you think that was for like job security, or they were like, why did they do that?
Honestly,
there's one word that covers it. There's one word that covers it. It's called greed.
Mm-hmm.
It's greed covers it, honestly.
When I started at Commodore, there was a lot what you call dead weight. There were people there who'd been there and really didn't do much. Like, I mean, if you've ever seen the movie Office Space, you'll get the idea. One of my favorite films of all time. There are people who can be there for a long, long time and actually do nothing. And if the company's large enough, no one notices. Or if it's poorly run, no one notices. So, and those people protect their situations there. I mean, that's why I thought when in '85, when Commodore was hit with some financial problems and they had a round of layoffs. That first round of layoffs was a wonderful thing. Second one was questionable. The third one, I used to say this, I've said this before in talks. Third one hit bone. We had some new guys who were really promising who got kicked out. I mean, new guys, I've been there for a year and a half, right? But I wasn't the new guy anymore.
I think what's important to understand, this is only my opinion, of course, and I could be wrong, but my opinion is that Commodore's incredible growth, i.e. the Commodore 64, was in fact at the beginning of its downfall, because you cannot make millions and millions of computers without having millions and millions of dollars to fund it. And that's when Jack had to bring in external finance, and that's really when the rot started, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, it's just one of those things that I think that the Commodore 64 was the beginning of its demise.
Oh, it's an interesting concept. Well, sadly, Commodore did demise. Thankfully, Amiga is still alive. It's because the community keeps it alive with all these new amazing projects. But I guess this is a good segue, into the book, guys. I mean, what inspired you guys to write this book, and what's the concept?
Okay, as I think most people know, I've written 4 books now, 3 of them in conjunction with Trevor Dickinson. In fact, I've said many times he did most of the work on the trilogy, Vultures to Vampires. But I think a lot of people also know that because Commodore UK seemingly was the most successful business for Commodore worldwide, the time came when Colin Proudfoot, who was my co-managing director at Commodore UK, and we felt that we were the best people to take over the remnants of what Commodore and Amiga had left. And so therefore we instructed Coopers and Lybrand, who accountants of the worldwide accountants, to help us to launch a management buyout prospect. And in fact, at that time, we raised $50 million. $25 million came from one group of wealthy individuals, about 4 of them, I think, and 2 independent wealthy individuals. And the other 25 million was coming from a Chinese manufacturing company called New Star Electronics, who up until that time had been building and selling Sega and Nintendo products without paying any license fees. And they'd been told by the Chinese government that they had to get legitimate. So there we were all set. We'd written a fantastic business plan, and there's no way that we would have raised $50 million if it wasn't a good business plan. Anyway, just 48 hours before the auction of the assets, we were cheated out of it because ESCOM stole New Star Electronics away from us by offering them a much better deal, which they didn't fulfill, of course, anyway. We always knew that. Mm-hmm. So yeah. we ended up, we could not buy the assets. We knew we would not have sufficient funds to run the business long enough to be self-sufficient, because obviously everybody had just been burnt by Commodore, all the suppliers, and we knew that they would never give us trading terms until we earned it. So needless to say, we didn't buy. Now, I didn't realize until a long time later, in fact, 2015, when I was sort of brought back into the industry, to attend the Amiga 30 event, how highly regarded we were in the UK by the community. And so obviously I was really badgered into writing the first book, Commodore, The Inside Story, in which I involved many other people, including Dave Haynie, RJ Michael, other people, to write their own chapters, so that what is written inside the book is absolutely accurate from their point of view. And I didn't edit one word that they wrote. I did get it proofread, but I didn't edit it. Anyway, the long story short, so many people have said to me since, "God, we wish you'd have come on the bid. We know that you would have had better ideas," and so on and so forth. And it just occurred to me that, well, the truth of the matter is that, I'm 75 now, and I think this will probably be my swan song. I think I'd like to produce a book which hopefully will leave people with a bit of a warm glow rather than something a bit negative. And so I thought, I wonder if anybody would be interested to find out what we would have done. And I asked a lot of people, and everybody said absolutely would be really good. And of course, now we've got the benefit of hindsight, in that we can now look back on all the new technology that was developed year on year on year. And because my philosophy has always been, unlike the previous Commodore owners, has always been collaboration. What I would have done was to have worked with anybody who was manufacturing anything that improved or enhanced the Amiga. I would have worked with them and got their engineers talking to each other, so that not only do you save money and time, you end up making more money and you share the spoils. So that's what we would have done. And by getting Dave involved, what we are planning to do, and we've actually quite a long way into it, we're writing about what we would have done with the product. Now, I have to say this right at the start. Eventually, the Amiga would have to be phased out, simply because you cannot keep on developing new technology which is backwards compatible. You have to make a break at some stage, and that time would come. So in the interim, we came up with a concept called Amiga Infinity, which will be in the book, about how we intended to keep the Amiga going as long as we possibly could in any way, shape or form. However, of course, part of our plan was to include the new technology which was being developed by Commodore, by Dr. Ed Hepler. The project was codenamed Ombre, which I got to see when Colin and I were doing our due diligence in Westchester just before the auction. And Dr. Ed Hepler showed it to me, what he was working on, and cobbled it together in various pieces of software just to show how it would look. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, I've never seen anything since that even comes close to it. That's my opinion. So we would have moved on to a line of products based around the Ombre technology. So the concept of the book is
let's just a question about that. I hear a lot about Ombre and I hear a lot about AAA. Can you explain the difference between the two, like what they two are? You don't have to go into too much detail. I'm just curious.
I will in
ahead,
2 seconds. Let me hand over to Dave to do that. But basically, what we're planning with the book is to come up with in ways it's fictional, because this is not real, but it's what we would have done. So as each new technology was developed, how we would have incorporated it into our machines to make it stay relevant to the current technology, but still be separated from our competitors. So the book is all about that. It's called Dare to Dream, which I think is a very good title for it. And we're really excited about it. And I hope people will back it and support it. Dave.
Yeah. So just to let you know, AAA, or what we call the Advanced Amiga Architecture, was a thing that was started in 1988, actually before Pandora, which became AA. And it was called AA because it was one less A than AAA. That's the only reason they called it AA within the company. But so AAA was a design of a system with a 32-bit blitter and either a 32-bit or 64-bit graphics bus. And this had things gone really well, this probably would have been out in 1991, 1992, if it had been properly funded, because 3 years is about what it should take. Now, this was a complete update of the Amiga architecture. It was still Amiga architecture. It wasn't strongly compatible in the way that AA Pandora was. It was the same ideas. There's still a copper. There's a blitter. It does 4 operands now. I think there's a masking. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was. It had a chip called Linda, which was a line buffer that allowed you to do line by line display resolutions changes without having to change the display clock. It allowed different display clocks. In fact, it allowed you to have 4 different clocks going at the same time, so you could do a bunch of different screen things. It had a bunch of what they called hybrid pixel modes, which work a little bit like kind of the back end of a MPEG 2, MPEG 1 thing that basically allows you to do local color maps, so you could do animation at a very low cost. That we did, I think the one we got up and running ran all the way up to 1280 by 1020, maybe 1024, but anyway, it supported high resolutions. It supported, it had bit planes. You could have up to 10 bit planes. You also had chunky pixels. You could have chunky ham. You could have ham 10. It did like I said, it was very much Amiga. The so-called floppy controller was actually fast enough to do the old ST506, something equivalent to the ST506 hard drive. That was the thing that didn't exist anymore, but it was certainly fast enough at the time to do CD-ROM and things like that built in. It had 8 channels of audio with panning, so it wasn't left right. You had 8 channels and you could decide where they went, left, right, or in the middle. It was 16-bit, by the way. There were means to do audio capture and to do video capture that were built into the system. They weren't built into the chipset, but they were basically, you could open slots for that with additional hardware. it was all very nice and Amiga like.
That's all
Ombre was
AAA. It's not
something.
even. Oh, that wow, it's amazing. I didn't know it had that much.
Yeah,
Incredible. Yeah.
yeah. I could go on, but it was 4 chips. We were still counting on using the same chips we were using for the Lisa chip at HP. Except only thing was Lisa. We could do Lisa at Commodore at 1.5 micron CMOS, which is the best Commodore ever had. At HP, you could do 1 micron CMOS, which was going to yield a whole lot more. So all of the AAA stuff was designed to work on HP's 1 micron CMOS line. But thinking about what might have happened after everything was thrown up in the air and reorganized, I'm not sure we would have gone to HP. I think we might have gone to somebody like TSMC, which actually existed back then and had half micron CMOS, and we're looking for customers. But anyway, like Dave said, there's that whole 2020 hindsight. But if in writing my speculative fiction here, we have to make it last to the present day, which means we always made the right decision, I think. But anyway, Ombre was something different. Ombre was designed for 3D graphics, but at the time there was no specific 3D graphics model. So Ed Hepler, who was sort of like the East Coast Jay Miner, the guy was one of these big brains that you only meet once or twice in your lifetime. Decided that, well, instead of because we don't know what we don't really have a good 3D model, we're going to put a CPU out there that can do 3D really fast. So basically, he designed his own PA RISC processor and added a whole bunch of graphics and 3D instructions to it. There was also a blitter, but the whole idea was it was working only in chunky pixels, so it wasn't Amiga-like with bit planes. It could do 24-bit chunky pixels. It could do 16-bit chunky pixels. If you did 16-bit chunky pixels, you could have 4 planes. 4 playfields, whatever. Yeah, 4 playfields. That's how we used to call it. Yeah. So you could have 4 16-bit playfields going at the same time. You had an onboard PA RISC processor with 3D instructions. For gaming, that was the whole thing. So that would have been the gaming processor.
That would have been, yeah, because a lot of folks I hear like they're like, oh man, like Amiga, like when PlayStation came out, like that would have been it for Amiga anyway. So that would have been like their answer to a PlayStation.
So, yeah, that would have been PlayStation or Sega. The Sega's word. The first PlayStation was really hit big. The second, we didn't get into the second generation. At some point, having thought about this stuff for the last 6 months, at some point there would have been some hardware pathways, but there also, the thing is, unlike all of those processors that were out, that all those graphics things that were happening back in the early 90s, this was actually a GPU. Nobody made a real GPU until 1999 or so with the NVIDIA parts, and even then they were only GPU to a certain extent. This was a full freaking, I mean, you could run code on the processor. The idea was when you put this, when you made this running a high-end Amiga, or we'd always just also wanted to sell this on a card for workstations. OpenGL ran on the PA RISC.
So this is incredible, Dave. Thanks for all that information. So I'm thinking, because a lot of folks were asking me. I'm like, it's cool. Like I get it. Like they're gonna talk about some stuff that Commodore was developing, and then they're gonna get into a little bit of fiction. But they're getting into fiction. But is this kind of like what people can expect from the book? Because like this is an amazing level of detail. Is this the kind of stuff you're going to put into the book?
Well, yeah. Can I just say that we have Dr. Ed Hepler working with us on the book, is contributing to us already. Sent us quite a lot of stuff. I mean, he's saying that he can't remember a lot of the things because, of course, this was a long time ago, but he is actually working with us. So, what the details that will be in the book will be as detailed as we possibly can. And as I said, I think the whole idea of the book is to end up when people have finished reading it, that they've got a warm glow about, yes, we missed it, but this is what it could have been. And that's really the ultimate objective of the book, is to to leave everybody happy, and it's not a battle of attrition between other companies. This is if it had been handled right, and we honestly believe that we have the passion, still have the passion, if it had been handled right, how Commodore could have been such a different company from what it is today.
Yeah, and that's a big part of why I wanted to be part of this. Dave mentioned the whole idea of an uplifting thing. I mean, people remember my computers, and I love that because at this point they shouldn't. It was 30 or more years ago, but they remember the deathbed vigil. I mean, I wrote, I made that to make people understand what happened in a way that you might not have heard of. But that's a hard thing to look at. I mean, I look at that, I cry.
I know. Yeah. So folks who may not know, Dave, he has some excellent foresight, and as a documentary filmmaker, I appreciate very much. Dave took a video camera into Commodore in Westchester, Pennsylvania, on one of his last day there. It was one of your last days, and just documented everything that was.
Well, it was one of the last days that I was actually there for another month, but it was one of the last days where most that Wednesday, that was on a Tuesday. The next day they fired more than half the company.
So it was one of the last times when everyone was there all together.
The first day walking around the business, I just brought in fact, so I could tell you a little bit about that. I don't want to get into it all, but I had been on a they told us, shit's going bad here. If you have an opportunity, take it. So I went on a weekend trip, or it was actually Friday to Monday, to meet with two different companies. The first company I went with was a little tiny company called Mizar that was doing high-speed multiprocessor DSP boards. The guy who ran the company the guy who ran the engineering department and was their chief architect, had been promoted to CTO, and he was having all this other stuff he couldn't do, and he wanted to replace himself. And after a good interview, and then drinking at a Texas bar, and then going out for sushi, and then going to a strip club, I probably had the job if I wanted it. It was, unfortunately, they couldn't pay that much because they were a very small company, and my wife would have had to move to Texas, and it was Dallas. If it had been Austin, he might have gotten me. But I felt bad about the whole thing, and I loved the company. I just it wasn't quite working out with my life plans. If I'd been a single guy, I would have been there. The next one was with Compaq, and I arranged to have Compaq pay all the bills, so Mizar didn't actually have to pay my flights or anything. Compaq was the next day, and they were. I went to it was somewhere in Compaq. They had this whole group, and I'm like, there's all these people doing, I sort of saw like 5 to 10 people did like the job of one engineer at Commodore. I said, like, if I just want to sit around and drink beer and go boating and stuff, I could have this job and maybe they'd pay me more. But like, no, I could not work here. I mean, I'm not surprised that Compaq eventually wound up going away, because I mean, really, almost all of the work they did there was talk to Gigabyte or Asus or somebody else in Taiwan and tell them what you want in your motherboard and you'll get it, and it will cost you less than you would have made it with all those engineers in the United States. So I mean, that was the whole problem with commoditization, and in that era. But Compaq, the thing was, they had no ideas of what you were going to do beyond just being, just following the PC industry. You weren't going to ever do anything new there. So I came back to Commodore, and I had, and my wife said, well, if you really like the area, drive around with your camera and show me show me what it looks like. She wanted to figure out if she could live there or not. And parts of Texas are really stupid. Like, there's no zoning laws. Like, you'll have a neighborhood, then there's a Walmart, then there's another neighborhood, then there's there was no organization like there is on the East Coast. But anyway, I didn't shoot much because I'm not going to work for this guy, and I can't work for these guys because it's not enough money. So I came back, and I had these 3 charged batteries, and I went to Walmart on the way, or Kmart, back in the Kmart days, on the way to work on Tuesday. and I could get they had 8mm tapes in stock, so I bought a couple 8mm tapes, put in my camcorder, and started wandering around Commodore taking video as a home movie. The next morning, they weren't allowing camcorders in anymore.
Timing is everything. Timing is everything.
So the next day was the video at Margarita's Evergreen Inn. That was our hangout. The house built by Commodore. The place that the A3000 was actually first shown in public, including the dirty diaper that Headley had to take off of the prototype that he had in his hand. It was, so it was, that was just this thing. And then this bunch of terrorists contacted me and said they were going to draw things on the on the speed bumps in the parking lot that night. So I came there with my camera and filmed that, though I had nothing to do with that project. If you've seen the film, you'll see. But just to let you know, there's some clandestine stuff going on there too. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to make. It was a lot of fun to get it out. I took that video. I ran it past my dad, who told me he didn't, he said it was good, but he didn't understand what was going on. And that's when I started doing the cut scenes where I had I had a little bit of text in there to tell you what was going on along with the video, because the video was really just chaos shooting. I mean, walking around, taking pictures of what are people going on. And I had no freaking idea how to use a camera at that point. I didn't have 10 years later, I would have had my GlideCam 2000. I would have had an on-camera mic. I would have been shooting in HD,
You should have got Bill to do it for you.
Yeah, now you're speaking my language, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. You should have got Bill to do it for you. Anyway,
I had to get special permission from Amazon to put that DVD up on Amazon back when they had that program, because they were like, "Oh, well, the video's crappy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's crappy, and here's why you should put it up there. It's historically significant." And after that, they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's a moment frozen in time. And as a visual person, I can hear stories, but when I actually see Commodore right in front of me, you go inside and you see it. It puts my head more in that frame of mind, especially someone like me who doesn't work in an office. I'm like, oh, okay.
And you can watch it for free on YouTube now.
Oh, excellent. So speaking of visuals, I want to find out a little bit more about the book. Some folks are like, is this going to be like a text only book, or are there going to be pictures in it? What can folks expect when they actually back the book? What's the book actually going to be?
Well, if anybody's read any of my books, and many thousands of you have, thank you so much for that. I only produce a book of top quality. So it's going to be hardback. I can't tell you how long it's going to be, because how long's a piece of string? We don't know, but it will have full color pictures, and it will have some black and white pictures. I'm fairly sure. There will be quite a lot of what you call ideas of what things will look like, because as you know, this is in some ways it's fictional, but but there certainly will be photos, and I only produce a quality product, so rest assured it'll be worth what you pay for it. That is for certain.
Yeah. I'm planning to come up with fictional but credible ideas about what we could have done going forward with basically we'd start with Amiga stuff. We get that working first. I mean, I think when the company takes over the Commodore stuff, the first thing you do is get some old Commodore machines running. We get AAA to the point where it's actually producible. We get AAA to the point where it costs less, so we can make some lower end Amigas that have a AAA chip, one AAA chip, because if you look at all of the success of graphics companies, they followed the technology. What kind of chip can you get today? If you have that same design, it scales pretty quickly over those years. We'll have some block diagrams. I think we'll have room for that. It was in with the Ed Hepler stuff, but also a couple of people sent me my old A5000 diagram. So we could put in that one, the A5000 diagram at Commodore, and then we could show the A5000. I know exactly what I want the A5000 that was made at the new company to look like, because we already at that point we're saving some money and we're making it cheaper and better. And and actually a lot of what I've been doing for the last 6 months, Dave keeps saying, send me stuff, and I've got a website for this. I've got it on my Google Drive, but it's all very technical. And I'm trying to build like the basis for what could be done, because I don't want to lie to you guys. I want to say, here's what we actually probably could have done with the right resources, following the technology that was out there. Because, if I ever did become this is speculative fiction. If I ever did become a real science fiction writer, I'd be a hard science fiction writer. I'm not writing fantasy here. I'm telling you, I'm extrapolating what happened today. But now I'm sort of writing a retro science fiction book where I actually know what we could have done. As far as the technology goes, Dave's got to handle the business side of this. But what was possible? Yeah, I'll tell you what's possible. And I actually think we had an architecture that was unique and was not the way that NVIDIA and ATI went. And I want to explore that in this book.
Yeah, can I also add to this that a lot of the book is going to be about how our business plan that Colin and I had proposed, how that utilized the value of the Commodore trademark in order to, in many different ways, to merchandise it so that we could raise sufficient revenue to support R&D. Because R&D, in my opinion, is the whole basis of a technology company. Without R&D, you've got nothing. So a big part of it is going to be how some really quite novel ways of raising money using the Commodore logo. So a big part of the book is going to be about that. So, and that's not fiction. I mean, that is a reality. So I guess I got this feeling that we're running out of time because we've taken over the whole show, and I don't believe that wasn't the intention. But can I just?
I had a hunch. I had a hunch this would happen.
Mine.
No, everyone who's watching is having a great time. And what I want to do, we'll take a look at the Kickstarter, and then we will. There's a lot of folks who are asking questions, and I've been trying to flag them. So I want to. The whole part of like these streams is like live interaction. That's what's exciting for me. So they've got some cool questions. So it's interesting. It's a. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's go over here. I'm going to go here. Oh, so if you guys go !dream in the chat, that will take you over to the Kickstarter. And now, guys, is there a reason why you chose a Kickstarter as a platform for this book? My wife and I have done like 2 books, and it's hard. Making books is very, very difficult. So we didn't do a Kickstarter. We did like a print on demand situation. So I was just wondering, are you guys psyched about the format of Kickstarter? Like, why did you choose the Kickstarter?
Well, the truth of the matter is that there are several fundraising platforms that one can use. Some of them are easier than others. But what I found with Kickstarter is that their admin system for monitoring pledges and fulfillment and everything is more sophisticated than anywhere else. And I'm really hopeless at admin. I'm not good at it. So I wanted to use a platform that gave me the best possible means of that. I mean, I won't go into it, but I had a disaster when I was doing volume 1 of Vulture to Vampires because my email was suddenly changed from GoDaddy decided to force us to go to Outlook, and they transferred everything, and they lost a whole raft of material, including loads of emails between me and the backers, and it was a nightmare. So, but that's why I chose Kickstarter as opposed to, for example, Indiegogo and so on and so forth. But two books that I've written with Kickstarter and were very successfully kickstarted. So that's why.
Yeah, I also think
crowdfunding instead of just kind of going for it. I know when I was making the book with my wife, we're like, how many should we order? Like, how many of these books should we print? Are we going to print 10 or are we going to print 1,000? Like, I don't know. So is that a reason why you chose?
I think the crowdfunding also works if better if you have kind of an installed interest. I'm not saying everybody wants to send me money, but there, we get to prove that somebody actually wants to read this before we start. Before, not that we haven't started, but before it becomes a, I'd hate to spend another year on this, put the book out, and find out that 50 people bought it and they're all happy with it, but no one else is buying it. So
Yeah, that's exactly.
it's a lot of that's
exactly the reason.
that comes. It's not just time. I mean, that comes from, I've been following Kickstarter for years, and a lot of it's technology projects. And like, okay, I have my prototype. It's going to cost me a lot of money to put this into any reasonable sort of production. If nobody wants it, maybe I won't do that, even though I spent all this time on it. So, this lets you say, hey, is there interest in this? And I kind of wish that they had something set up where it's like, well, if it didn't happen, the thing is, I think everybody on Kickstarter these days knows that if you're funded, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The thing is this,
gauge interest.
Thing is this, is that the cost of books these days has gone up so much in the last 2 or 3 years. Since COVID, it's gone up incredibly. So it's not something that you can gamble on. So by running a Kickstarter and you set yourself a project, a goal to reach, because I know, for example, the minimum book run that makes any sense at all is 500 pieces. They won't do anything less than 500 pieces. So if I can't get 500 back or close to it, it's not worth doing, because you can't afford to risk it. It is too big a risk with the outlay. So I think a Kickstarter is really good, and thankfully it was a bit of a slow time in the middle, but it's starting to pick up a lot in the last few days, and hopefully we'll reach it. Certainly with everybody who's listening, help, please support it, because I think it's a project that make you feel warm and lovely and all of that kind of stuff, So come on, let's do it. We really want to do this.
And I mean, if you're an Amiga nerd, I can guarantee you we're going to have some stuff there that is reasonable to assume could have happened on the technology side of things that you haven't heard of. I'm not even, it's just, we're not just making shit up here either. Like I said earlier, I've been spending a lot of time working on figuring out what's possible. I haven't been writing a lot of words. I've been building spreadsheets. I've been looking at I did a thing on why NVIDIA became the most powerful graphics company. And they might still have become the most powerful graphics company, but understanding how they got there tells you a lot about how you could get there too. And that's good. Part of that is, what did we actually have to do? I don't think Commodore would have gone the same way as NVIDIA exactly, but as when Dave first mentioned these, he's saying all about partnering. Yeah, there's no way. In the 90s, sort of saw the end of, I'm building a graphics system just for me, and I'm building a graphics system that a lot of other companies see. We would have been in that space, and I think I actually think there's 3 niches we would have been in there, not just Amiga stuff, but 3 other places where this technology would have been applicable. And assuming we had a good team behind us, we would have been making partnerships with these guys. We would have been getting buy-ins. We would have been sharing technology. It's hard to, it's a little presumptuous to say, yes, we would have been working with this gaming company or whatever, but unless we have a buy-in from those gaming companies, but still, it's like maybe there was another gaming company that that wouldn't have existed except for the fact that they hooked up with us. They had some money, they came in, but gaming was an obvious thing. Everyone mentions PS2. PS1, PS2. Yeah. The things we were building were oriented towards gaming. Commodore was going to obviously have a sequel to the CD32 or whatever the new company was. I guess the new Commodore would have had a sequel to that, probably with an Ombre chip in it. maybe it became a standard. Who knows?
So, Bill, can we get back to the questions, buddy?
Yeah. Let's go to the question. I just want to show the rewards, so just so people know what they're getting into if they decide to back it. There's going to be a hardcover physical edition of the book, and an ebook, which I think is a great idea. I'm a big fan of ebooks, and you don't have to worry about shipping and all that stuff. So it's £14 for the ebook. It's £30 for the hardcover book, and £38 for both. So that's $19 for the ebook. And then we got $39 for the hardback and $50 for the combo. So, and you
as long as they don't have to start signing ebooks.
I want to. So we're gonna signing ebooks. That's hilarious. Yo, F. Sandstrom, thank you so much. Appreciate you, F. Sandstrom. So yeah, so we definitely have some questions. A few folks offline they just wanted me to ask you, Dave. They're like, we love Dave's first book, the Inside Story, and then we're psyched for Vultures to Vampires, and then Vultures to Vampires originally it's going to be like one book, and then it got split into three. And I know that that can some people are excited about that. Other people are like, oh man, like I thought I was going to get everything in one book. I paid for one book. That's kind of what my expectations were. I don't want to have to get 3 books. So is this book? Do you see this book, the potential for this book going into multiple volumes, or is this it, just the one?
No, one book.
One and
done. I mean, the problem with the Vultures of Vampires is that we ended up with 900 pages. If you try to hold a book with 900 pages, you can't even hold it. That's twice the size of the Bible, for goodness sake. No, one book. This will be one book.
One book. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's the same problem that happened with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Fair enough. We got some questions from the audience. I could talk to you guys all day. I got a lot of questions about modern stuff going on, and oh man, you guys, appreciate it. So, but I want to ask the questions from the audience. So Fishbot, I'm just going to go in the order that I got them. Fishbot is asking Dave Haynie, if you were designing a new computer system today, drawing on your experiences with the Amiga, what features and technologies would you prioritize?
That's going to be in the book.
It's going to be in the book. It's hard to say today because today it's basically all about the silicon. Yeah, there's not, I mean, I design computers all the time now. I still do, but they're not meant for, they're not application processors that sit on your desk. They're designed for embedded stuff. So right now I'm doing embedded systems where I get to make a lot of changes about how things work. And most of that's in support of the thing we're trying to do with that particular system. And some of those, I mean, a lot of the ones I do today run Linux. They're not something really tiny. It's not like I don't know, almost every computer these days is powerful and runs Linux, but I'm not making a microwave oven here. These days, I mean, a lot of what I would have done back there happened. It just happened 10 years later. Things like PCI Express and how that works, or what I had this thing I was working on back in. I had an idea of a thing called the TPU back at Commodore, which I call the Transfer Processing Unit, which basically
telling them what's going to be in the book.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it'll be in there.
No, you gotta give it a tease. You gotta give it a tease. They want to know it's in it, and then you can expand on it.
The TPU is in there, and it kind of deals with making things really efficient the same way that PCI Express did. It's not the specific media, like what bus it is. It's just sort of the idea of that. That'll be in there. That'll be in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. The Coffee Cup Arcade is asking, while working for Apple for 10 years, I learned a few things about hardware versus software. May I ask, how did you go about the design of the hardware, and did you know what kind of software would be run off it, and did that affect your design choices?
When I was in college, I studied electrical engineering, computer science, and cognitive psychology. I was triple majoring. So from my point of view, software and hardware were sort of the same thing. For any particular design, you had to know how the software worked, and you had to know how the hardware worked, and you would discuss. And so let me tell you, when I got out of college for 4 months, because that's how long it took me to quit, I was working at a company called General Electric. You might have heard of them. And they had one group in the entire company that I had been hired to called computational design that could do hardware or software, and everything else had been this gigantic wall put up this high. You can't even see it. This this gigantic wall put up over between hardware and software. That is exactly the wrong way to build things. When I got to Commodore, we had the software guys and the hardware guys all getting together to talk about registers and this and that and the other thing. And I have done everything that way since. I have at a previous startup company, I worked with a software guy who was trained as an electrical engineer, and we could make, we discussed all of our technology decisions together from the hardware and software perspective. I've written code and hardware and FPGA sometimes on a single project. I work today with a guy who is a ridiculously good firmware engineer, understands the software that he gets to talk to at least as well as I do. I've always co-designed. I mean, because I can spend a year on the hardware. The software lives for another decade or two, sometimes, depending on what the product is. So yeah, I mean, and the thing is, if the hardware is shitty, the software won't live that long because somebody will throw that out and buy something better. So I mean, they really do kind of reinforce each other.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
not,
balance.
there's no fighting there. It's one single thing.
Thank you. Thanks for
Okay, Bill.
thanks for the answer, Dave.
Next question.
Next one is from ProtonFIG. He says, most of us know the past, the rise of Commodore, and also the fall. But talking about these days we are experiencing now, did any of your original Commodore people expect the life cycle flexing that long? That people still use the 80s and 90s machines? That community would be so strong and lasting? And do you have any thoughts about the Vampire?
Well, certainly I didn't have any idea that this wonderful community of ours, which is truly global, would exist. And in fact, after the management buyout fiasco, when we got cheated out of it, I got out of the industry completely. I could not have changed my life any further than I did. I went overseas. I married a Dominican girl. I went to Australia, I bought a restaurant and ran to that. And I was out of it for years. And then in 2015, I was invited to be a speaker at the Amiga 30 party in Amsterdam, and subsequently in Germany a couple of months later. And I was absolutely shocked. When I walked in that room, I was swamped by people saying, "Can I have your photograph? Can I have your autograph?" And I was looking around and I was like, who were they talking to? I had no idea that I was held in such high regard at the time. But in answer to the question, no, who could have ever imagined that all these years later, it is a thriving community and that so much stuff is being built for it? Now, in relation to the question about the Vampire, it's difficult for me to answer that without referring back to the fact that I actually collaborated with them in the name of the book, because at the time that I started to write that book, the Vampire, which was in early production, was the latest technology that was going to be available. And it just made sense from my point of view to use the terminology about the vultures coming in, trying to get strips of the carcass of Commodore, and then ultimately ending up the Vampire. From what I understand, it's a very, very good product. But there are so many other products on the market that do similar things, and I don't really have a preference for one or the other. And I think they've done a very good job. I don't know what else to say. What does Dave think?
David.
Well, yeah, I mean, as an engineer, I expect to, I was building a computer that I'd hope would be around until the next one. Being that it was Commodore, we wanted to make sure that they were very, at least at the high end, we wanted to make sure they were upgradable, because Commodore was going to be putting out a new whole system every year. Amiga 2000 went from, basically, 1996, 1986 through 1989. Amiga 3000. You know, they had to be upgradable. They had to be something that would live for a while. No way in the freaking world I expected people would still be using them 30, 40 years later. I mean, that, it makes no sense whatsoever. I'm happy they did. I mean, I didn't expect people to think like, oh, here's that famous Dave Haynie guy. Years later, I thought I'd be doing whatever I was doing, and maybe somebody would like, if I ever got a music album out, 5 people would buy it and be happy. But I mean, a lot of weird things happen. I'm actually more famous on Quora than anything in modern times outside of the Amiga circles. Who knows? It's like you can't predict. But I tried to make things that would last as long as possible, which didn't hurt the fact that they had to live 40 years or 30 years or whatever. But it wasn't anything we ever expected. I mean, you just really don't, because technology changes all the time. It gets replaced. And I mean, I was as passionate about Amiga as I was anything. Like I said, back in those days, I lived, breathed, and I was building a family near the end of that, and that was about it. I had my wife, I had my kids. They were all babies back then. My son was born in 91. My daughter was born 2 months before Commodore went under. So
Okay,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know it is, Matt. Sometimes I question myself too. I'm like, wait, why do I love it so much? And it all comes down to hanging out with the community, going to events and parties, and the Amiga, to me, like the Amiga is awesome. And that's the people are better.
Part of that's what's kept me in it, is that that people are still interested. They want to hear me talk about it. And then all of a sudden, like, some of it's coming back. People are making new Amiga systems because the technology has advanced to the point where somebody, if one individual person wants to make a Commodore 64, hi Jerry, or or an Amiga. If somebody wants to, you get the Vampire guys, and I've talked to them, I've hung out with them, I've had beers with them. I mean, those guys are amazing. And the fact is, they built a better 68,000 than Motorola or Freescale, or even now NXP ever built, in an FPGA, and a graphics chip there too, and the damn thing runs off of a USB plug. I mean, sometimes technology just lets these things happen. I mean, I know not specifically how they did it, but I know these guys were experienced computer architects who decided to take this on. They had some good ideas. Like, we were talking about hardware and software. I spoke to a couple of these guys. They were talking about how they got video running on this. They got a guy who was really, really good at coding video. They sat down with him and said, what instructions can we add? And a day later, they've got instructions to try out, because it's in an FPGA. I mean, they did things that nobody has ever done with CPUs before. It is
very cool.
It's just really freaking amazing.
We're gonna check out Proton, who's in the chat. He always sends me music every week, and he's also a coder. He's in Finished Gold and Complex, and he started doing some demos for the Vampire. So we're gonna check him out in a few minutes. We got like two questions left, guys, and one of them, you basically 3 questions. You already answered one. I just want to mention them. Grandmaster Brust was asking about did Amiga see the 3D gaming revolution coming, and that were they designing an answer for it? Because people say Wolfenstein killed the Amiga. I guess that was the Ombre chip, as you mentioned before, right? That was Ombre.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Han Solo, you kind of answered this as well. What do you think of the new hardware? Like, is there a specific piece of hardware that you like? If it's the Pi Storm, the Vampire, A600GS, Amiga 1 X5000, is there one in particular that you're fond of, Dave?
Oh, for me, I mean, I talked a lot with Trevor about his his Amiga 1, and I understand what he was doing there, and I thought he did a really good job. Ultimately, I was a little skeptical about it when it first came out, but after talking to him and like, here's our goal, I'm like, yeah, okay. So when he started doing that, it was like, you can't buy a new Amiga. There's nothing really happening. And those guys really got some stuff going off the ground. And it started out really expensive, but they brought it down. And the vampire stuff's great. I like the fact that they've been also addressing the software themselves, because I think a big part of the problem with this is, okay, I'm running classic Amiga. I can add drivers and things, but it's hard to change the operating system because we don't have the code. The fact that they're still sticking with 68,000 models, but now they have Coffin OS, or which I think the name just changed recently, but
Apollo.
it's all based on Apollo OS is based on ROS, and
Yeah.
and that was the thing I was pushing a long time ago. I said we have to make, if Amiga needs to survive, it has to at some point get away from the things that the community cannot control. Like, Trevor is a member of the community. He's got a company. He's a member of the community. Apollo and and Vampire, those guys are a member of the community. They're not this giant company that's trying to take over everything. They're trying to have a little piece of it. They have to be able to be. They have to have code that they can deal with, it keeps it to be an Amiga, but lets it evolve. Lets changes happen. Lets you get AVC videos playing in a window somewhere.
You're good. Everyone good? Okay, thanks. I have two quick questions, and then we'll wrap it up, guys. One is directly about the book, and one is a theoretical question for Dave. Dave, what do you think of software using server-based quote cheats to deliver features otherwise impossible, or at least very hard, like AmiTube or AmiFox? Are you familiar with those, Dave? That's from McDop3.
I'm not familiar with those particular ones, but I think it's kind of a given that some applications are going to be using server computing to deliver their results. I mean, it's just because server computing exists, because people are doing cloud shit, and because a lot of people putting out those apps are cloud companies like Amazon and Google, and lately Microsoft. You're gonna have it. Do you want to not have that thing? What I don't like is the fact that sort of presumes you're going to be online all the time. And when I'm out, in the woods somewhere, climbing a mountain, which I do occasionally, or I'm out in my kayak or whatever, and I don't have a good signal. Is that a thing I need in that situation, or is just something I'm sitting, in front of my computer, my two monitors here in my office in Delaware, with a hopefully good connection, though I guess you guys have been seeing a little bit of me fuzzy. I just changed my ISP to a cellular connection because the cable company here, well, basically they weren't going to repair my connection for a week.
Oh boy.
and they were evil anyway. If I was in Florida, I'd have 500 megabit fiber, and only because that's the lowest tier they've got.
Cool, thank you, Dave. Appreciate that.
Anyway,
I think what he was talking about AmiFox and AmiTube. It's basically like it lets you like surf YouTube or surf the web using a real Amiga. It's pretty cool. I again, the things that people come up with in the community is amazing. Last and not least, guys.
I mean, it goes the other way too. There have been web browsers that do proxies for you, so you can see full-fledged websites on machines that can't actually run those things. Right. I mean, hey,
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I guess last question is a good one. Folks are saying, if the Kickstarter is successful, will the books be available for sale in the future?
Yes, of course. I always order sufficient quantities of printed books, to fulfill the pledges, and then I add an amount that is a kind of a guesstimate as to how many other people will buy it once it's available. And clearly some people do hold back, they prefer to wait. But that's why the Kickstarter price is £30. The retail price will be £39. So it's obviously beneficial to back the Kickstarter in the first place. But yes, and I'm still selling Commodore The Inside Story. I've still got some of those. I'm still selling volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Vultures and Vampires, and we'll have them in stock. And I use a distributor called Look Behind You in Germany, they're also publishers, and they ship out all my books outside of the UK, because as we are no longer part of the EU, it's a real nightmare to ship products
Yeah.
into the EU from the UK. So that anybody who's living outside of the UK, I use these guys to ship the book. So if there are any customs or import duties, they're minimized or eliminated completely. But
So
yes,
they
and
do
they
the
always,
printing there. Yeah.
yeah, they always hold the stock there for me.
Yeah.
So, but the way that it's gone at the moment, because of the price has gone up so much of printing. I mean, the very first Inside Story print run was done in Malta. The second one was done in Turkey, as was Vultures of Vampires 1. And then the volume 2 and volume 3 were printed in India. It really depends on where you can get the best deal. And you have to include, obviously, the shipping in bulk from
Yeah.
each of those
Yeah.
places. That's quite important too. But yes, in answer to your question, yes, it will be available, but please don't wait. Buy it now. Book, play now. We need your money. No, we just want to get this over the line. That's all. We just want to make sure that there's enough interest in it to make it a
Yeah.
worthwhile project, because there's a lot of work
Yeah.
to be done.
It's a lot of work, and you know, if any of y'all know me, I'm not going to do it wrong. I'm going to make it as, I mean, not that I've written a lot of science fiction, but if anyone's followed me on Facebook, whatever, I read 60, 70 books a year. Most of it's science fiction. I know, this is speculative fiction, but it has to be, it has to be like Isaac Asimov or whatever, correct. It can't be, I'm not just going to say, hey, we did all this stuff and we won. No, because, how did you get there? What's the technology behind it? Was it any good? How does it compare to what happens today? How did that come from what we did back then? That's actually a lot of freaking work, more than I thought. which is why Dave always like, hey Dave, are you doing anything? I'm like, oh yeah, I am, but I'll send you something this week. But it's all very, very technical at this point, because I want, I have to have my technology to build the story on top of it.
Cheers,
Great.
guys. Thanks so much for the time.
But I want all you nerds out there to know that it might be fun to read, because this is, this is not Ray Bradbury here. We're gonna this is Asimov or Clark or something. We're gonna have some actual technology in it.
Yeah, Dave, it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of good tech in it.
No,
Guys,
no
thank
magic.
you so much for coming.
Well, I don't know. Marketing is always magic. Dave might have a little magic.
Yeah, so Bill, can I just thank you while we're on air in front of everybody? Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's really a terrific platform that you've developed and promoted, and you're well supported. And thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for letting us at least let people know what we're working on, and they can decide for themselves if it's for them. I hope it is, because I think they'll get a lot out of it. And God bless you. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks a lot.
It's all about the community, and I love sharing projects with my community who comes here every Sunday, and appreciate. I know lots of great stories today, guys, and I really thank you for the time, and good luck with the Kickstarter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Guys. All right, I'll close that, and I gotta. Oh, here we go. I'm all turned around now, guys, because that. There we go, and cut. All right. See, that's my my backdrop there. That's my Mac backdrop. All right. Wow. There you go, guys. I asked you last time if you guys wanted the Daves. You said yes, and we got the Daves. Thanks, Fish. I tried. Thanks, Jawbreaker. I was sweating when it went out. I had to do some rewires. Pato, you like the interview? Awesome interview. Thanks, guys. Rob Smith. Yo, Rob Smith's got a new video out. Rob Smith is cleaning floppies. I saw it right before the stream, Rob Smith. Thanks, Elron. Thanks, Spam. Too bad it's not longer. I know. See, I could tell you all were enjoying it, so figured we'd go with it. I gotta figure out how to do. It was super entertaining. Oh, thanks everyone. I appreciate that. Again, it's all about, for me, it's all about you guys. It's all about the folks who come here. I just wanna, you guys come here and give me your time every week, and I want to give you guys the opportunity to see different projects. I do it for you folks, whether it's an interview or the news. We got a lot of news, man. Oh man, we got a lot of news. The interviews are awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I have some other cool guests lined up for the near future. I'm really, really excited. But I got hold on. Let's turn on some music. You guys like the mods? Yeah, this is Ace Man. Ace Man is so good. Ace Man is a great dude from Poland. Let's do this. I'm gonna go. I've been hanging out in Brooklyn a lot. I worked in Brooklyn all week, so I'm gonna have a little Brooklyn lager. Crack the sucker open. Not over my Amiga. Pour it. Anyway, cheers everyone. Thank you all. Cheers pros. Thank you all for watching today, and thanks for coming every Sunday fun day. Yo, Punic with the resub. Thank you. You know, like I said, I do these streams because I enjoy hanging out with all of you, and the fact that you come here and spend so much time with me, so many of you, means the world to me. And the most valuable thing any of us have is our time, and the fact you guys come here and hang out with me means the world to me. It goes right to my heart, man. Appreciate all you guys so much, and Amiga forever. Thanks. I really appreciate all the feedback about the interview. I'm glad you guys liked it. You liked hearing Dave talk about the AAA. You know, I wasn't clear about was, to be fair, like when I was like back then, I was like, I just loved Amiga and I just wanted Amiga to keep going. And I just loved hanging out with all the folks in the Westchester Amiga user group. I want to see more games come out, but I didn't really know the nitty gritty of like the hardware, all the business stuff. I still don't. I mean, I still don't. It's not my area of interest as much. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's do some Amiga news. Skull, Chris, Roger. Who's here? We got Elrons. You're welcome, Elron. Coffee Cup Arcade. Ha Games. Poetic Android. Texas Foosballer. Acid Bottle. Amiga Cami. Rob Smith. McDopp. Punic. I'm probably missing a lot. Han Solo. No. Fishbot. Carlos Jackal. Sween Martin. Sin Lao. Roger XY. S. Jan Chow. Evil Min. Chris Doe. Acmafin. Ha Games. Ha Games has got a game coming soon. I'm still fighting my way through the Scorpion engine, and so far I'm thrilled with what I can create. I love designing games and hope Dr. Dangerous project will be more than just a test for me. My plan is to have a finished game. Yo, Ha Games, we're gonna play Dr. Dangerous. We're gonna play it. I gotta let me get through the news pretty quick so we can play a couple of games. Fishbot, Fraglord, Prom Queen Quiller, Retro Gaming Music, Nivrig. I was at T-Pug. I was showing him all the Rogue Declan at T-Pug. I talked at T-Pug, the Toronto Pet User Group, and they asked like, what are some of the cool new games to play on the Amiga? And I was like, oh dude, we got the Rogue Declan, we got the Seekanoid. And I was like going on my shelf, pulling all the stuff off. So great to see you, Nivrig. Quantic CD32, Billy to go, Mick Smith, Earrock, Albie Shore, Ian, Lamer Deluxe, Kale64, Acid Bottle, Corvo, ProtonFIG, Mixels Lab. Oh, you saw part of that stream, Nivrig? Oh, awesome. Nivrig, you gotta come back on the stream soon, too. You got to. All right, let's do some Amiga news. All right, folks, let's do the Amiga news for the week of July 21st, 2024. Take 3.
Amiga news with Amiga Bill.
Let's start off with the good news, folks. Last week, we found out that Lemon Amiga was hacked and taken down. Fortunately, they are back. Lemon is back. Lemon Amiga, one of my favorite websites for the Amiga. They have an incredible games database. They've got a great community board. They've got the EAB versus Lemon Amiga games competition. It's really fantastic. Look, there's Shift. We know how much we love playing Shift. Shift was a great one. Click on that and read about Shift. You can, choose your favorite Amiga game. Lemmings. Click. Boom. You go over to Lemmings. You got awesome frame grabs for Lemmings. You got videos. You can listen to the soundtrack. You got the box art. Lemon Amiga is top notch. Yo, Mick Smith, thank you so much for the resub. Appreciate that. And Nivrig with the resub. Thank you, Nivrig and Mick. Appreciate you guys so much. So Lemon Amiga is back in business. Exclamation mark Lemon in the chat. Get your fresh squeezed Amiga goodness over at lemonamiga.com. Welcome back, Lemon. Cheers. Next up in the Amiga news section, we got Grind. It wouldn't be an Amiga Built news section without a trip over to Indie Retro News. Grind is an amazing game. They're super, super talented people. What if we had Grind back in the day? Would Amiga die? Oh man, well, I'll tell you what, probably, but my mind would have at least exploded on the way out. Grind, an epic first-person shooter for the Amiga 500, gets another playable tease. So what they did was they added multiplayer support. So I get deathmatch support. Link your computers up with a null modem cable. That's what it looks like, and you can play head-to-head. I used to love connecting my computers head-to-head with a null modem cable at Westchester Amiga user groups meetings. We used to play like F-16 fighting Falcon. We used to play Lotus. There's so many good ones. It's really fantastic. And now you can play Grind head-to-head, which is just mind-boggling. If you're looking for more gaming news, we've just been informed through the EAB forum by Chuck and our good friend Saberman. Not only has the first ever Grind PvP binary been released, but according to the Patreon announcement, it also includes a major rework of the old serial cable PvP functionality, packed with brand new features and options, plus 2 new arenas to play. To coincide with this news, we got some footage from Saberman. Let's check it out. Pause the hippo, bring up the Saber. And I'm gonna add the sound, which is this mouse over here. That's cool. Connection host found. Start match. Match type is kills. Oh wow. And you can choose. Oh, you can also choose like which map you're in. We're gonna play it in a little while, folks. We're gonna play it in a little while. I can't play against anyone because I'm all by myself today. but we'll check it out and play it with better sound. So let's go back to the news here. And yeah, dude, Grind, it's amazing. I'll drop the link to Indie Retro News in the chat, where you can. It'll link to their Patreon as well, which is you gotta be a patron to download the demo. But yeah, dude, these guys are doing amazing work for Grind. So now it's got custom menus tailored to multiplayer needs, a dedicated screen showing the connection status between the machines, new match options allowing the players to change the type of match, no limit, kills, minutes, and set up with conditions. An option to choose the arena will take place. Dude, there's so many. Wow, crazy. So there's two arenas, Cursed Village and Wheel Temple. Absolutely amazing. These guys are doing incredible work. So here is a link to the Indie Retro News article. What am I doing here? Copy. I gotta go to my chat over here. Twitch.tv chat. Boom. Here is the link. Sorry for all the technical issues today, folks. There you go. Oh, thanks, ProtonFIG. I appreciate it. I don't know if it was so much of a capture card mistake or Apple. There's all kinds of technical issues that happen. Fortunately, it lasted most of the interview. All right, next up in the Amiga Built news section, Dr.Dangerous. It's a playable test version, but looks pretty decent so far. This game looks cool. Made with the Scorpion engine. Dr.Dangerous is now the Dr.Dangerous demo is now okay. We've just recently found out through Facebook that Who Games 2017 has made available a playable test version of the in-development Amiga game Dr.Dangerous, a game that's already gained positive feedback, such as, wow, from the first few seconds, you can see that'll be a standout title, character and style in abundance, and great character animation, very nice graphics. To coincide with this news, we got a video from Saberman. It works on an Amiga 500 with an ECS Agnes, 500 plus, 600, 1200, 2000 with an ECS Agnes, 3000, 4000, and CD32. Requires 1 mega chip and 1 meg of other RAM. Here's the website for Dr. Dangerous over on the itch.io. And I believe the developer is with us in the chat, which is super, super rad. Or at least he probably was until my computer crashed. We can take a quick peek at the Saberman video. And then we're gonna play the game too. It looks really good. Hey there, Saberman. What's up, Saberman? Great video as always, dude. Appreciate all your videos. Saberman's on it. The Saberman Indie Retro News 1-2 punch, baby. Sigerborn says I gave up on the Mac with OBS. It's a pretty bad product. Yeah, I agree. I usually use PC, but because I'm in my new location, I've been using the Mac. But I'm probably just gonna move my PC here. Okay, Hog Games is here. Hog Games is here. Let me see if I can get my chat back. Yeah, my chat. Okay, good. There we go. Now I can see you guys much better. I know, Amiga Vision, right, Tony Rocks? You worked out on the update? Oh, okay. While Hog Games was watching the stream, they worked on the update. Very, very cool. Saberman, thanks for the video, dude. Here is a link to the Indie Retro News article where you can check out Saberman's video, as well as read more about it. And then here is a link to the itch.io for Dr. Dangerous. Copy, paste, Dr. Dangerous, boom. There you guys go. Galaga, an arcade classic, as an upcoming Commodore Amiga conversion by JOTD. We're not gonna play this one today. We played it because I'm just running out of time, folks. A tribute to Rick Dangerous. It does look like a Rick Dangerous, Chris, exactly. Yeah, because it's Dr. Dangerous, that makes sense. Galaga, this version of Galaga, it looks amazing. JOTD is trying to do like an arcade perfect version of Galaga for the Amiga. I love Galaga. It's super, super rad. And he's got a new version out, a new update. Remember when we said that a possible 1-to-1 arcade conversion of Galaga was coming to the Commodore Amiga, thanks to the hard work of JOTD and team? Well, thanks to the latest update sent to us by Saberman, we've been told that this in-development game has been made fully playable with sound, added bug fixes, and missing features. So, cool update to Galaga. Last time we had some like tearing on the screen, so maybe he fixed that. But yeah, this is really cool. What's up, Midnight Bird? Great to see you. Arcade perfect, but which cabinet? Oh, good question. What's that? Yo, Zanfer1980, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm Amiga Bill, and I stream Amiga stuff here on Twitch almost every Sunday. We call it the Sunday Fun Day. I love to do Amiga news and catch up on all the Amiga news that happened throughout the week. That's what we're doing right now. I love to play new Amiga games, which we're gonna do in a little while. I love to play classic Amiga games, which we're not gonna do today because I'm out of time. I love to have guests on my stream. Today we had two Commodore legends, Dave Haynie, engineer, David Pleasance, managing director of Commodore UK, on talking about a new Kickstarter they got going on. And my favorite thing about the streams is hanging out with all of you in the chat. You all absolutely rule. It's an amazing community, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. That's funny. Anyway, here is a link to the Indie Retro News article about Galaga. He also links over to where you can download it. I'm dropping it in the chat. Paste, and then we go over here. I'll give you the source too, over on the itch.io. Paste, itch.io. Cool. Next up, okay, so the theme of today has been books, right? Well, check it out. These guys are super, super awesome. They're actually giving away free books. So check it out. Happy Friday. The RGDSpodcast is proud to release our free Amiga book and podcast on the Amiga, covering the top 25 Amiga games. There's two books, Volume 1 and Volume 2. The books are free, but a voluntary buy me a coffee donation is very welcome here. There's the link. You can buy them a coffee. And their podcast can be found on YouTube. The audio version of the podcast can be found here. I would greatly appreciate any help in sharing and letting as many people know about the books as possible. So here, I'm just gonna drop all the links into the chat. So definitely go show the RGDS podcast some love. These books are really amazing. You guys gotta check them out. Let me see what we got here. These books they're quite incredible. They're really amazing, and they're free. It's great. Free ebooks, of course. They're not printed, but it's what a nice thing to do. That's super cool. Let's check out the Bitly. Let's check out. You know, we checked out book 1 last week, so let's check out book 2 this week. Copy. We'll paste it in here. There it is. Look, right to the book. The top 50 Amiga top 50 video games. This is book 2, numbers 25 to 1. This is super rad. Look at this. This book is really well done. Two free ebooks, the top 50 Amiga games. Volume 2 has just been released. This is super awesome, folks. How awesome is the Amiga community? Like putting out free books. That's crazy. They put a lot of work into this. Look, this is a really this is a really well-made book, from what I can see right here. This is really well done. Wow. So kudos to the RGDS podcast. Go download the books, throw them a little coffee money, and subscribe to their podcast and YouTube channel. Good game. RGDS podcast. I'll drop a link to the books here, and as well as a link to the coffee. Give them a little tip. And then here is their podcast. Unfortunately, for some reason, the YouTube link isn't there. I apologize, guys. But I thought that was really cool. Now, this is really cool. Over on the English Amiga board, they have an interview in obligement with Kari-Pekka. I'll just call him Kari-Pekka K. He's the author of Hippo Player. You know, I'm using Hippo Player. I'm literally using Hippo Player right now. Check it out. I'm literally using Hippo Player right now. I haven't read this article yet, but I'm sure it's awesome. And I love the photo. I wish I had a photo of me sitting at my Amiga like that. So this is an interview with Kari-Pekka. The magazine Obligement published an interview with Kari-Pekka, the author of the legendary audio player Hippo Player. He's also a game developer with Sormulus. He made the game Tanks, which was redeveloped after 26 years. I played Tanks on the stream, and he's a really good guy. And here's the article. Whoa! What happened? What happened to the link? What happened to the link? It worked before the stream. All right, well there it is in French. I'm sure they'll update it. But Obligement does excellent interviews. So hopefully the English link works again. I'll put these links into the chat just in case. I'll also put the EAB link because the links are in the EAB link as well. That's where I saw it. Good job to EAB. Copy and paste these into the chat. There you go. That's definitely going to be a good read. I haven't read it yet myself. I know it's going to be a good read. Now check it out, folks. There's also some Amiga events happening. We've got Amiga Belfast. The details are unknown to me at the time, but Nivrig is the man behind it. So I know it's going to be awesome because Nivrig's awesome. I don't know where to go for updates, so I put Nivrig's x.com profile up. So I'm sure he'll be putting it into I'm sure he'll be posting to his X. I'll drop a link to his X. Boom. Dropping a link to Nivrig's X. Amiga Belfast coming soon to I don't know, an Amiga party for you coming soon. I love it. Nivrig's in the chat. Nivrig, can you add anything? I know, congrats. So Amiga Belfast, is it going to be like a user group or is it like a one-time event? either way, man, kudos to you. It doesn't matter. Like, just getting Amiga fans together is awesome. So good luck, Nivrig. Good luck, dude. You're an awesome dude, Nivrig. Appreciate you very much, and good luck with Amiga Belfast. It's a low-key event later in the year, but more of a user group. Awesome. So Nivrig, if you want, I just threw the link to your X in the chat, if that works. If you have another link, let me know. Yes, Nivrig needs to add it to retro directory. Exactly. While we're overseas, this is cool. This one caught my eye because it's on my wedding anniversary. Mike from the Yorkshire Amiga user group dropped this into my Discord channel. Thank you so much, Mike, for dropping this. The Northwest Computer Museum is having a Commodore Day. Bring your own Commodore. So this is another cool meetup. Join us in the Yorkshire Amiga user group for a day of Commodore and related antics on the 31st of August 2024. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know if there's a link for more information, but I'll be sure to put this in the goodie bag. And Commodore Day coming August 31st to the Northwest Computer Museum, hosted by the Yorkshire Amiga user group. I love the antics. Do you love the antics? Yeah. There's always antics. Oh yeah, Corthorn Dragon. Definitely drop the link if you like. That'd be cool. And folks, despite the technical difficulties, we made it through the Amiga news for the week of July 21st, 2024. Yes, Corthorn, yes, you can post the link, no problem. Thank you for asking. We did it. We made it through. Thank you, Corthorn Dragon. Thank you for dropping the link. I'll bring it up. I have too many mice. That's my problem. There's the link. There's the link to the article in English. Thank you so much for the link, Corthorn Dragon. I really appreciate that. He was hoping for a 4th attempt. Fishbot, nice news, especially the books. Yeah, I mean, how amazing is that? Those guys put a lot of work into those books, and they're giving them away for free. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. I gotta get over to the UK. I want to get to, you know, Amiga Belfast. I want to go to Commodore Day. I want to go to Swag. I want to go to NAG. I want to go to Kickstarter 3. Oh man, there's so much great stuff going on in so little time. I wish it was closer. All right, let's do. Mick Smith says, it's been a busy month for me. Kickstart, Yorkshire Amiga user group, Sheffield, Robin Hood Amiga user group yesterday, and the beginning of August, there's a Lincoln Amiga user group. Mick Smith, you guys are crushing it over there, Mick. Great job. And Terrible Fire, you got Terrible Bites. Terrible Fire, I want to come so bad. Exactly. Yo, there's Dave. What's up, Dave? See, Swag is in the house. Love it, guys. Love it. Terrible Bites would be awesome, Terrible Fire. I would love to come to that. Oh yeah, I'm hoping to go to Amiga 40 in Germany as well. All right, I told my wife I'd stop streaming at 5, but you know how that goes. It's 4:40. Oh man, she's a saint. She's a saint. Let's so you know what? I know the creator of Dr.Dangerous is here. So let's try it out. You're going to Amiga 40 if you have to take a boat. That's hilarious. Let's try some Dr.Dangerous. All right, I'm gonna plug this sucker in. Let's see if I do this. I think this will work. Dr.Dangerous. I'm gonna copy him over onto my SD card. Dropbox. Today's the 21st. Games. Dr.Dangerous. Copy Dr.Dangerous over here. Yo, Chucky Gang, what's going on, Chucky Gang? I'm so psyched for the Terrible Fire. 4060, guys. You guys rule. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a world, because I don't use my 4000 as much. Maybe there's a world in which I upgrade the 060 in my 1260 and take this one and put it in the 4000. I don't know. It could be cool. I'll have to bring them to Terrible Bites so you guys can do it for me, because I'm a dumb when it comes to that stuff. Asked about you're excited about the glut of Scorpion projects. Very cool. All right. Let's close this up. Now, here's the question, though. I want to make sure I'm getting sound. Okay, good. We got sound. We got sound. Okay, cool. Let's reboot Dr. Dangerous. Let's go. Oh, you hope it works on a real Amiga? Me too, Doc. Yo, I hope it works on a real Doc. I mean, the way things are going today, I'm a little bit nervous, but I think we've gotten through the worst of it, you know. You only tested on Windows 8. Well, here's a good test. Chucky Gang soldered 6 more 4060s waiting for the RAM. Should arrive last Friday, but apparently there were some IT issues. just a little blue screen for the entire world, right? Oh man, I saw people. What's the name of that thing that failed? Crowdsource. I don't know. I saw people marking themselves safe from it. It's hilarious. CrowdStrike. There it is. I was Clown Strike. So you guys actually know. You guys actually know what's going on with that. I've been so busy. I wasn't even supposed to, just like Dante says, I wasn't even supposed to be here today because I was supposed to be in LA for work. So I kind of got the guys on last minute, and I was kind of dragging them along a little bit because I just didn't know if I was going to be here. Remember last week I said I don't know if I'm going to be here. Dr. Dangerous, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go, Dr. Dangerous. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is what happens. This is what happens when you don't test. Oh, Doc, I'm sorry. Oh, I would love to go to Finland. Oh my God, I would love to. I don't know. You know what? I can't. Unfortunately, I can't play Dr. Dangerous because I don't have. I'll try it. I could try it again. I could try it again, but I don't think I can play it because I don't have my emulator set up. I can. You know what I'll do? I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. I'll try it one more time. If it doesn't work, I'll check out Grind, and then then after I do Grind for a little while, I'll circle back to Dr. Dangerous because Hoog Games. I appreciate you being here. Assembly in Finland, 1.5 weeks. Oh, nice, Chucky Gang. Very, very nice. The installer is not supposed to appear. That's odd. You know what else is odd? It's this capture card is bugging out too. I like when it makes noise. I like when my GoX makes noise, but it gives me hope. But I don't think it's gonna work. Who games normally I test these things beforehand, but like I said, I was really stressed out about. Oh, we're in business. The Amiga gods finally smiled upon us today, folks. Wait, maybe I'm speaking out of line. Woo! What's up, Amiga Malta? Yo, Marco Finn 82, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, Marco Finn. It's been a long time since I whipped out my Monster Woody. It's about that time, folks. Asphalt says visually top notch. Upshift, Sykes, Stiggerborn. 69 bits living dangerously. DJC Animation, Geeks vs. Geeks. You know I love whipping out that Monster Woody. Haas Games, I'm so happy it's working, Haas Games. I felt really bad. I really wanted to play your game. I hit start game instead of about us. Sorry, guys. You got a will. You know it, Sugarborn. Whoa. Oh, let's get the gun. Boom. Oh, is the gun a single shot? Is it a single shot gun? Whoa. All right. Find X batteries for the exit. Okay. Haas Games says, full disclosure, this is only my first test version. Yo, Haas Games, so far so good, dude. This is beautiful. I love the I know Scorpion Engine does this when we had Iraq on. The like the physics, the inertia, how that he slows up a little bit when he's at the top of the jump. That's very, very nice. Collect ammo to shoot. Press fire. Okay. I feel like we had only one piece of ammo. You like the title music, Thorn Dragon? Nice. I got something and push the button. Can I go through there? Nope. Devil inside. It looks good, right? Oh, okay. It opened up this door. Nice. Oh, we got a gun. Oh, it must be extra life source. We got a zapper. Let's go get a little more life. Yeah, I see the life. We increase our life with the E. That's a cool enemy, man. That's a cool enemy. I like him. I like him, but I'm going to shoot him. Elron, you love the style. It looks great. You like the passcode thing on the title? Only Mixels has attempted such a thing. Chris Doe says, this game reminds me of Rick Dangerous blended with Electro Man. But I love the game mechanics way better on this. Chris, this is really nice, dude. Yeah, Chris, I wish you could come to WOG too. We love you, Chris. Next year, maybe. The WOG meetings are so fun. Oh, okay, so we got some spikes. Oh, I'm out of I shouldn't have shot the other guy, maybe. We got some spikes. I'm gonna jump. Oh. I'm gonna try to jump over the spikes, but didn't do it very well. I died, Sigurborn. What's up, Marco Finn 82? Great to see you. Huh. Astabal's already talking about a sequel. Hey, Greg. So far so good. You know how it goes. They say we'll know on Friday, and then I don't know, but it's like 90. I say now we're like at 90-95%. It's like yeah. I'm gonna make the email as soon as I can. I'm sorry, Greg. I know it's like a PITA, but like just like with like David and the two Daves, I was like, I don't know if I can do it this week. I'm still waiting. You'll probably book it tomorrow, Greg. It's extremely. Let's put it this way. Even if that job that I was talking about happens, technically it's not supposed to conflict with it at all. So, Margot Finn, where am I streaming from? You mean like the location on the Earth? I'm outside of New York City. But I'm outside of New York City, but inside the Amiga Saloon. It's so there's a lot of history here. This is actually you know, where I grew up playing my Amiga, so this location means like a lot to me. No, Westchester. Most people are outside New York City. Fair point, Weird Amy. Fair point. It's when you have New York City, you got Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, the Bronx, and Manhattan, and then we border the Bronx. So we border the Bronx to the north. Push that button. You're caught between the moon and New York City. Oh, here we go. Oh wait, do I have any ammo? Yeah, Marco Finn, I'm really lucky to live here. I love where I live. I love New York, and there's such a great community here. We got Westchester Amiga User Group. We got the Vintage Computer Federation. You've been to New Jersey and New York? Nice. I'm really, really lucky. Oh, Rob Smith has got a new video out. I saw it right before the stream, so that's why it wasn't in my news section, because I was nervous about the interview. So Rob, drop a link to your video in the chat. We'll take a look at it before the stream's over. We'll take a sneak peek. The new Rob Smith, baby. Oh, I'm dead. Those spikes are tough, Sigurborn. Every time I hear Westchester County, you think of a flat earther? You know what? Every time someone hears Westchester County, they think I live near Commodore headquarters, which is like 2 hours away. I live in Westchester. It's all one word, but Westchester is where Dave Haynie used to work. What's up, Photon? Great to see you. What's my favorite Commodore 64 game? Skate or Die. Skate or Die. Okay, so, when you get that one's a battery. Got it. So I guess you got to fill up your battery meter. You like Skate or Die? Skate or Die is a good one. I had a lot of fun with that. I used to love skateboarding as a kid. Yours, Ninja Gaiden. You can't go wrong with Ninja Gaiden. You know, can't go wrong with Ninja Gaiden. Yo, Rafael H, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it, Rafael. Welcome to the stream. We're checking out a new game that's in development called Dr.Dangerous for the Commodore Amiga computer. It's made with the Scorpion engine, which is a cool game development engine that's been developed by Eroc, and the developer of the game's in the chat with us. What's up, Angry Viking Biker? Good to see you. Gianna Sisters is a good one too. I could go Bruce Lee as well, but Bruce Lee, I still consider Bruce Lee an Atari 800 game, even though, yes, the 64 version is awesome, and a lot of people know Bruce Lee from the 64. I get it. Oh, these freaking spikes. I'm having a hard time with this. You know what I should do? I'm going to remap my my jump to button 2. Remapping. Trikowski, I am, dude, it was a lame death. I stink, Trikowski. Barzo Gelé. I'm good, Angry Viking Biker. Thank you so much. You doing good? Everyone doing good? Now, Trikowski, now that I remapped the button, look out. Now that I remapped the button, look out. More drink will help your gameplay. Exactly, Weird Amy. Can one be a globalist on flat Earth? Well, it's a good question, Porthal. You'll delete the first spike. Let me reboot. I think we crashed here. I want to reboot, and I just want to read the about. So Hoog Games, so you can get like a nice little shout out. Your first family computer was an MSX Nightmare or Penwing? I never heard of a Penwing. My first family computer was an Atari 800. Atari 800. Flat Earthers have members from around the globe. Voxel, you rock, brother. I can't wait to hang, Voxel. I can't wait to hang with you. MSX rocks. MSX is one I have no experience with. Terrible Fire. Your first computer was the Sinclair ZX Spectrum 48K. Very cool. Sir Clive. Is it like a lot of the European computers I never had any experience with until I got into retro computing? I need to get the TMF-SX. It's an MSX clone by Terrible Fire. Oh, yeah, I do need to get a Terrible Fire. I do. That's really cool. Hoog Games, your first computer was an 800XL? Hoog, that's awesome, dude. I'm a big Atari 8-bit guy. Escape goes to start screen, P's pause, and K kills the player. About us. Oh, copyright Hoog Games. I love it. I love it. You were mostly Zach Spectrum, Sigurborn. Sigurborn, by the way, before the stream started, I realized I still haven't reached out to that person like I was supposed to, and he was at the TPUG meeting. So now I have like a good conduit, good path for him. So I apologize that I haven't done that, Sigurborn. I'll get on it for you, Sigurborn. I promise. Sometimes I usually get to things, but sometimes it takes Old Amiga Bill a little longer to get to things. Chris from New York, Westchester County, flat earther anyway. Chris. I'll play just a little bit more and we'll check out Grind. And then we'll call it a stream. Amstrad for Nibrig, nice. Oh, Sigurborn, you got all the time in the world to hunt me down now? You're off close to 3 months? Yeah, Sigurborn. God bless. That's all I'll say. You know, I know, my man. Weird Amy, yeah, you did. Dave was on, Dave Haynie was on for a long time. He was great. We could have talked a lot longer. You guys, I should have Dave back one day. What do you guys think? I forgot to push the button. Haney's fantastic. There's a nice MSX emulator setup in the Vampire. Oh, I didn't know that, ProtonFIG. Sigurborn, you could talk to him for days. You know what's funny? When it comes to like smart folks like Dave Haney, like I was nervous because I was like, I'm not, when it comes to the Amiga hardware and stuff, like I'm not smart. So I was like, all right, smart guy talking to not smart guy. Like, how do I do this? But he just rocked it out. You know what I'm saying? It was brilliant. Oh, he's a brilliant man. Yeah. Angry Viking, you like the Imperial Walker on the shelf? Oh yeah, that's my original from when I was a kid. Yeah, Dave can talk. He made it easy, Chucky. He made it easy. That doesn't matter at all. He's such a nice guy. He was a very, very nice guy. You never get tired of listening to Dave Haney? Nice. You just acquired interest on a 4060 on AmiBay. Protect my 4000 for that Amiga Rochester brought back from the dead. Nice. Oh, perfect. For that 4000 brought back from the dead. Nice, dude. Christo, I gotta get the Falcon back in there. Oh, look at, I jumped it. I made it, guys. But here's another one. There we go. Definitely, second button is much better than up. I've got one zap, but I'm not gonna zap it. Not gonna zap it. What opened up? Did that open up? I don't remember if there's something over here. Hey, I'm having a lot of fun with this game, Dr. Dangerous. I'm having a lot of fun. Hang it from the ceiling. That's a good idea, Christo. I need to clean it up. Oh, those spikes. I don't know if you can walk over spikes. That's a good call. This game is slick, gorgeous graphics. How awesome is the Amiga community making cool stuff like this? Second button for jump. Up for jump is better than up for jump always. Yeah, Voxel, I agree. You gotta love the Monster Woody. He's got the second button mapped to up. Yeah, that's very, very cool. I agree, Coffee Cup. Hey, Coffee Cup, I'm digging your Instagram, dude. Digging it. Who Games? All right. Oh, wow, we're back down here. Get that hoodie out. Look out. Look out. Hey, what's up, Andy? Only Amiga makes it possible. Only Amiga community makes it possible, too. You are right, Andy. Yeah, I wasn't even going there. Oh, check it out. The bullet actually pressed the button. That was very, very cool. I'm nervous down there with those spikes. We got some more ammo. Nice, dude. Yeah, Sigurborn, doing the up jump is really terrible. I'm with you, dude. There we go. Woo! Oh, enemies are on the move now. I've got no ammo left in my zapper. Woody. Woody. He said Woody. Yo, Chucky, my neighbor's dog's name is Woody. And he was named... He didn't pick that name for no reason. Let's put it that way. You bring Woody to the dog park and oh, baby. Oh, baby. It's on. Oh. Are those ceiling buttons I spot? I don't know what ceiling button. Oh, ceiling buttons in the game. don't see any yet. What's this? Okay, I wasn't sure what that light was. Yeah, look out! You bring Woody to the dog park, and all hell breaks loose. I love that dog. Oh, he's so great. I love my Woody. He's such a good boy. Oh, this is so I've got no ammo left. You've got the Spectrum edition made by Monster Joysticks, and you love it. Oh, very, very cool. Yeah, Who Games. I was a little bit too cavalier with my ammo. Dead. All right, what time is it? Oh, it's 5:02. All right, cool. So anyway, I got to move on to the next game. You need it for other enemies. Who Games. Great job. Great job with Dr. Dangerous. I had a lot of fun playing it. Appreciate it very, very much. Can you drop the link into the chat? You could drop the link to your itch.io. You guys can go download Dr. Dangerous and give it a go. It's a very, very early preview version. But Who Games, keep up the great work, man. You are on the move, Hoog. You're on the move. Corbo, you're looking forward to the WUG meetup? I am too, Corbo. I can't wait, dude. I'm looking forward to the tiramisu, baby. Woo! Corbo, thanks for chilling, dude. Love you, man. You rock. All right, let's reboot. Angry Viking Biker, I want to ask you about your arcade stick. Where do you get the ones that have silent stick movement? Because I'm after an arcade stick, but the ones I come across have very loud metal clicking sounds when you move the stick. It's very annoying. Oh, that's Angry Viking Biker. Very interesting. Well, do you want to hear? You want to hear my stick? This is the Monster joystick. It's got a little sound to it, but it's not super clicky. So yeah, it's exclamation mark joystick, monsterjoysticks.com in the chat. Exclamation mark joystick. There you go. Monsterjoysticks.com. Yeah, Christo, you'll be there. I'll probably stream it. It is a little click, but it's not too clicky. How clicky is the Immortal? Immortal's not too clicky either. Yeah, get out your decibel meter. You're welcome, Angry Viking Biker. You're welcome. All right. You want sticks with reed switches, not cherry ones. Oh, Corthorn Dragon, thank you. See, Corthorn Dragon has got the good information. You want sticks with reed switches, not cherry ones. There you go. Oh, let me check. Let's see. My Discord, everything got all messed up, guys. When my computer started going poop-de-poop. Oh, that's beautiful coffee cup. That's a beauty coffee cup. Great photo too. Asked about you got your Immortal this week and you're proper happy with it. Immortals are great joysticks, dude. Niver, you got your Immortal too. It's great. Immortal joystick is awesome. We're lucky. That's the thing. Like, that's what's great about going to events. You know, like the joystick is a very the joystick's a very personal thing. So, you know, try out the Monster Woody, try out the Immortal, see which one works for you. I use different joysticks for different games too. Like sometimes I even go old school. I get out the bat. Sometimes I get out the Wyco bat. So the Immortal is bomb proof. It's pretty rad, dude. And I like the auto fire is cool. Monster Woody, I love the texture. Yeah, Texas Foosballer's got the OG Monster Woody. When I saw Texas Foosballer's Monster Woody, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. All right, let's do this. We're gonna play some grind. Oh, I just saw ProtonFIG. Thanks for recommending that capture card. I've seen that one before on Amazon. I've seen it. Look at these guys. Can I just show this for 1 second? and we'll play some grind. Look at the how much do you love these guys? I couldn't show this. I could. This is why I do these. Do you have a game controller for the vampire? Yeah, I got the one that came with it. I got this one. I've got this one, Proton. How much do you love these guys? Look at this. Oh man. How much do you love? That's why my man is the mascot. That's why. Yo, what's up, Neil? For sure. How's it going? Yeah, I hear you, Angry Viker. I get it. Look at those guys. They're the best. That's why I do these streams. I love these guys. That's so good. Oh, Ari, are you still here? Acmafin, you still here? Let me tell you something. They don't mess around in the hot tub. They don't mess around at all. Oh, man. You guys crack me up. Crack me up. You got another shot? I love your use of color, Coffee Cup Arcade. It's really good. That's beautiful, dude. That's beautiful. It goes really well with your violets and your purples. I love your mouse mat too. That's really cool. Nice one, Coffee Cup. Oh, look at that. I was wondering why it was so dark. I forgot to turn my LEDs on. All right, guys, last up here for the stream. Let's check out the latest build of Grind. Hopefully it works. The Amiga gods finally smiled upon us when we got the doctor working. Hopefully Grind will work. So there's an ADF file as well as a hard drive installable. The ADF doesn't have the music because it doesn't fit. The hard drive installable version's got the music because it fits. You want to see a Metro Siege edition of that joystick? That's a great one, Amiga Cami. By the way, Amiga Cami, how you doing? Amiga, oh, here's what I need to do. Please remind me to do this. I need to make sure there's as a reminder for the Amiga Game Jam going in chat. Neil, yeah, dude, let me turn on my this is all on a real Amiga. It's an Amiga 1200 with a Terrible Fire 1260 card in it. This is I'm sorry, it's a little, the camera angle is a little weird, but, all right. There's the ADF. So I haven't changed my color scheme yet. Grind. Come on, oh, pray that works. Pray that it works. Acmafin, did you see it? I love the picture. We might be going ADF here, folks. I'm gonna do a little reboot. Oh man. I know I'm a CD kind of guy. All right, I'll give you guys one. We'll try one more try. We'll try it with the Pi Amiga. If it doesn't work, we'll call it a day. Sorry, folks. I know, Circuitborn. Crazy. I'm gonna put this Amiga here. Guruing all day today. It's been a battle. It's been a battle today. Thanks everyone for hanging in there with me. It's been a battle. Oh, it's been an absolute battle. Yo, Amigos Retro Gaming with the raid. Super Tech Boy is here. Tin Foil, Bark Bit. What's up, Amigos Retro Gaming? Yo, folks, you all gotta go follow Amigos Retro Gaming. Freaking love those guys. Thank you so much for the raid, Amigos. That's the womp womp. Here comes the boat. Aaron, they're a great group of folks. They do Amiga streams here on Twitch every Friday evening. They also have a great YouTube channel. The boat was the host over at Kickstarter 2. He was the talk host, and they just rock. They're all around just super awesome guys. And boat, I am gonna wrap the stream up soon. I'm trying to get grind to work, and it's a grind. I'm trying to get grind to work, and it's a grind. Boat, I was trying to get ready for my interview today, and I didn't spend any time getting ready for grind. So I'm gonna try it on the Pi and see if it works. This is my last ditch effort today, folks. Oh, I gotta get my hub. But anyway, Amigos Retro Gaming, you guys rock, and thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you guys very much. I think my hub's over here. You gotta go follow the Amigos. They do like top quality work, man. Their streams are absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They're really smart guys. They know their Amigas, man. Top quality dudes. Love the Amigos. Top quality dudes. Amiga Bell can't catch a break today. Here's what I'm gonna do. Do this. Where is this? Where's this? Where is this? This HDMI cable is not long enough. Let's see, I gotta make this work. Come on, baby. Let's make it work. I'll be sure you're insane. I'll be sure. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. That is absolutely insane. I'll be sure. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'll be sure to have folks like you in the community. Albie, thank you so much for your incredible generosity. Thank you for being such a great friend. That just blows me away. I gotta be honest. Absolutely blows me away. Thank you, Albie. Thank you so very much. Albie, you're just such a man. You guys never have to do anything like that. That's huge, Albie. Thank you so much, man. I always say, like, I just do these streams for fun, and seriously, the most valuable thing we have is our time. So the fact you guys come here and spend your time with me is amazing. But like when Albie throws down like that, it gives me the ability to, like, make donations to all the games I play on stream. If someone's got a game, like I'm gonna make the dono thanks to all of you guys. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Albie. I really appreciate it, Albie. Thank you so much, man. And the best part about it is, like, these streams is like meeting all of you. Seriously, getting to know you guys and gals. All right, here we go. Come on, Pi Amiga. Come on, Pi Amiga. This is our last ditch effort for grind. Come on, Chris Edwards. Love to support you all. Oh, thanks, Albie. Albie is a legend. So I gotta do this. You gotta unplug it and then plug it in again. Trickery, Pi Amiga trickery. You feel like I'm the Amiga rep? I know my stuff, and I love the stuff, and brings great amount of joy to the community. You really do make a difference. Oh, coffee cup, that means a lot. I never. It's weird. I don't know. I know. I appreciate that very, very much, but I never tried to make that happen. You know what I mean? It just kind of. I just do what I do, man. I just try and share the love. I try and organize people, get people together. That's all I do. Westchester Amiga User Group or virtually here on the streams. I just try and get people together and have a good time. So I appreciate it. Oh, Cathorn Dragon. I love emulation. I mean, I love it. It's fantastic. I do. I mean, there's nothing like the real thing, baby. But you know, emulation is nothing wrong with emulation. Any way you can enjoy your Amiga is good. That's the way I see it. Let's see if this works. Grind. Come. This is it, folks. This is our last chance for grind. Can Chris Edwards help us out? Can Chris Edwards get it done for us? Let's go, baby. Chris Edwards for the win. Boom. Let's go, baby. Yeah, you would say emulation has been key to keeping the Amiga platform alive. I agree, Upshift. I agree. Quantic, emulation is saving your streams as your CD32 died. I remember that in the Discord. I'm sorry, Quantic. So now you're doing the A500 Mini. That is just awesome. Hardware is an old girl nowadays. You know it, Carlos Jackal. Chris, it sounds so good, right? Yo, Potato Murph, thank you so much for the follow. Coffee Cup, this sounds great, dude. All right, let's like PvP match. Waiting for opponent. You don't have to wait for an opponent. Let's just go. We got two. Oh no, am I gonna have to? Do I actually need an opponent? No. I guess I need an opponent. Well, that's the final kick in the balls. Let me see if I got another grind. I got another grind. It's not, unfortunately, it's... hang on, I'll be there in 4 hours. All right, let's try this. I got a plan. I got another build to grind. Let's try it. I got one more build to grind. This is our last. This is not what I wanted to show. I wanted to show the PvP, but apparently I gotta talk to the guys and see if there's a way I can show the PvP without being with someone. Let's try this. No, it's just a demo. I mean, it's just showing off basically that you can do PvP, but when the real game comes out, you won't have to. It won't have to be 2-player. how do I go back to? Just reboot the sucker. We'll have to set up at WOG, exactly. Sorry, it's so difficult. This is what I go through before every stream. Not all time. Sometimes it just works. Not today. Yo, Mick Smith, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you, man. Sorry for this crap way to end the stream. Some of the problems built booting the Pi. There we go. Oh. Kernel panic, not syncing. Asynchronous error interrupt 1. All right. Well, unfortunately, folks, that's all I got. We're talking about, you know, next generation stuff. And this is a Vampire V4. And ProtonFIG sent me a couple of demos he's working on. So let's go out on a couple of ProtonFIG demos. He's working on demos. You know, Proton always sends his music every week, and I really appreciate that. And he's also an amazing coder. He does like live coding streams. And he sent me a couple of demos he's working on for the Vampire. So let's just do a quick. Let's take a look at one of them, or a couple. He sent me 3, and we're actually gonna be able to see it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to hear it, Proton, but we're gonna be able to see it. Let's do this. Can I bring the Vampire up here? Proton, I can't believe it. Of all the things, I never expected. I never expected to be able to get the Vampire going. Never expected it. But I gotta do it this way. My eyes are not good enough for this. What the hell is going on here? Oh, stupid me look up there. Too small. There we go. Nice one, Proton. So Proton's working on some cool demo stuff for the Vampire, which makes it exciting. It's exciting that folks are actually developing stuff for the Vampire. That's what makes it interesting for me. Yo, Indie Retro News. We did the news. It was great. King and Balloon, a 1-to-1 arcade port for the Commodore Amiga 500 gets a new beta. Yo, that is awesome. Indie Retro News, welcome. That's so cool. Nice one, Proton. Oh, no problem, Dennis Bush. Yo, Indie Retro News, you rock, dude. We did some good indie retro news today. I appreciate you very, very much. Indie Retro News. I'm gonna reboot. That was nice, Proton. I can't believe something's working. Indie Retro News. I've also been plagued by technical difficulties today. Let's see. Can I get it up here? If I go to my chat, see if I can get it up. Yeah, in the retro news, you put in so much work, man. I can't even imagine. All right, let's try this again. We'll try a different one. Proton. Proton sent me 3 demos. We'll take a look at another one. It was really nice, high resolution there. Ooh, we got some fractal action going. Beautiful, Proton. That's gorgeous. Let's make it full screen. That's awesome, Proton. That's gorgeous, dude. Love it. This stream's got to be one of the best yet. I don't know about that, Chris. But I appreciate the positivity. Thank you, Chris. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Proton. I love it, dude. I love it. Mandelbrats are great, dude. Fractals. Nice color cycling. Yeah, he's taking advantage of that. Was it SAGA chip? It's really great, Proton. Great job, dude. Is there a way to get out of it? Or have to reboot? That's cool. Let's see. That's awesome, Proton. Great stuff, dude. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do one. Let's see. Can I reboot it? We'll check out his last one, and then I'll call it a stream. Amiga Cami says Proton working on the vampire gets me excited. I want to develop for it now too. Yeah, Proton working on the vampire is super cool. Amiga Cami. I dig it. Show all files. Proton. Stars. Oh, nice. We're back. We're back. Proton, that's a lot of stars. That's a lot of stars. We're back. Refresh. Yeah, Indie Retro News. I would definitely show the King and Balloon, but I'm gonna save it for next week if that's cool, because I've been having like crazy technical issues today, and for me, I have to like rewire everything to get my laptop up there. So I think this is a time to time to call it a stream. It's been a rough go of it. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. I'm gonna open up this. Sorry for all technical issues today, folks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But let us do this. We're gonna see if any of my friends are streaming, and then I'll see you all next week. Oh, you know what I can do? Can I add this? Let's see. Can I add? If I go like this, will you guys be able to hear me? I can't do anything. I can't do anything here, folks. I'm totally I need to reboot, so I'm gonna call it a stream. Maybe I can do a raid. Let's see if any of my friends are streaming. I'll see if I can do a raid. I'm all seized up. It's time to end it anyway. Following live. I have to reboot the whole computer. Let's see if any of my friends are streaming, and we'll raid. Amigos, thank you guys for the raid. Let's just do Amiga live. You guys want to see some Amiga live? Cawthorn Dragon, you're welcome. Sinlao, I'm glad you enjoyed the interview. Thank you so much, dude. Thanks for everything, everyone. Appreciate you all so much. Let's see. We are going to copy. We're gonna rate Amiga live. All right, folks. I think we're gonna take it to the hot tub. I'm gonna try and take it to the hot tub. Thank you all so much for watching today. Thanks to the two Daves, Dave Haynie and Dave Pleasance, for coming on. Thank you guys for all the support as always and coming here every Sunday fun day. I'll see you next Sunday, and have a great week, everyone. And hopefully next week we will have fewer technical issues. All right, everyone. Have a great week, and thank you all so much for your time. I appreciate it so much. It is time for the tub, baby.
Amigaism.